And in this house, the most dire, horrible events took place.
I hate this
film,
this
movie,
whatever you want to call it. I can't stand it any longer. It's this
plot,
Leave me with it. Now. I'm going to be honest.
studio execs,
Our disease, a cancer of this planet. And we
EFAP is
are the cure.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, DFHS proudly brings to you its top-tier class horror show, Champions of the World! The Horror Queen Horror Show, the Rock Lover Haryan Gláeddyv, the Mad Dog TCG, the Welsh Sheep Wine, proper horror show!
Are you ready? Bump, bump. Sorry, that's.
This is a heck
Sorry
of
if
the
you
first stream to come in.
Are you ready?
I'm so glad you asked you to do that. That's tickled me. That's tickled me.
Late notice.
I love it. Well, okay, this is episode 48 of Double Feature Horror Show. If you have never seen this before, if you're watching this on the replay and you're wondering what on earth is going on, we like to look a little deeper into horror. We have a good time with it, do a sort of deeper analysis and coverage of a particular film, usually working through a certain set of thematic arcs. And we also like to ease into that discussion with a short topic. And our topic tonight is very quick but good news. I bumped something else just because it was quite lovely to hear. It. So that's going to be really nice to see you. You're getting that topic quite spoiled by what's on the screen right now. That's all fine. But before we get into that topic, how are you doing, TCG? Thank you for that fantastic intro.
I am very good. Yourself?
I'm chuffed. I'm nervous. I thought I was coming on and we were all going to be like, "This is such a great film," and oh no.
Yeah, this is one that I'm going to enjoy going through, though. At least, Girl in the Clouds was too easy to rip apart. This one at least had the appearance of being competent.
What a compliment! What a compliment!
Exactly. And this was hiding Girls Get It Done slightly better.
I have actually got one of the screen caps just labelled "Girls Get It Done."
Excellent.
I have to do it. And Haryan, have you got it done this week?
What?
What a segue!
No, I don't know what to take from that. What do I answer that?
How are you?
Oh, I'm all right. It was my birthday last week, so at the moment I'm having some Japanese whiskey my sister got me.
Dogs.
Sweet.
Yeah, to calm my nerves. And I've finally been able to see Tash as well after a surgery, so that was fun. She's taken me shooting, clay pigeon shooting, so I'm looking forward to it. Okay, calm down.
Very cool.
That's what you say when you go clay pigeon shooting.
Do you?
Yeah, they
pull,
say,
pull.
Oh,
Pull.
pull. Oh, I thought you just made a noise. Yes, you do say pull. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. Why am I being called the Japanese whiskey?
Hey, Japanese whiskey is a great thing to go weeb for. Yeah, Mr. Gently Benevolent. I want to know as well. So is it Suntory? Is it Yamazaki? Is it what is it? What is it? Can we know?
Yeah, it is Suntory.
Excellent.
So,
I will say
very nice.
that Japanese Asahi is very nice. It's quite dry. It's a decent pint though.
it's brewed in Italy.
Look,
It's all right. Foster's is brewed in the UK, so
yeah, I know it's a lie. It's all a lie.
yeah.
Shameful stuff. Shameful stuff. And returning to the stream, Wine.
Hi guys, I'm here.
What did we have you on for last?
The Omen, where
That
I went
was
on a
it.
kind of on a rant about how it's actually a Christian film and not an anti-Christian film. It's
Oh,
actually pro-Christian.
Oh, yeah, I remember
rather
that.
than
I remember that.
anti-Christian. Yeah, I still say it's the most Christian film I've ever seen.
epic.
Even more than
stand by
Passion of
that.
the Christ.
Yep.
Even more than Life of Brian.
Well, okay. Shall I say it's more First Testament? It's the most First Testament film I've ever seen.
Okay, fair enough.
Because
But
First Testament is extremely dark and stuff. And like God in the First Testament is a pretty vengeful MFer.
Yeah, I referenced Life of Brian. That's not a Christian film.
No, it's far not. It was banned in Aberystwyth specifically because it besmirched Christianity.
Down with this sort of thing.
Did you know that? It was banned in Aberystwyth until
I did not know
1990.
that. No. I knew
fantastic-
America kicks up about it.
Yeah, that in fact is a fantastic example of what I've been trying to point out with BBFC, how they try and pretend they're too stuffy, but constantly people, and well, you generally see it in councils as you're saying, why did you let this through, gosh darn it? So,
To be fair, Wales in the 80s and 70s, when that was all happening, was an extremely Christian place. There were still Sunday laws for pubs and stuff. In terms of opening. Yeah.
good on
Anyway,
you, Wales. Good on you.
On Sunday film showing, I found out that Margaret Thatcher's dad, who was a staunch Methodist, he was when the Americans came over in World War II. He was actually for having the cinemas open on Sunday, just so they'd stop shagging the girls in the town. The man was pragmatic.
Oh no.
Well, the Americans ruined us. Like, that's all I have to say. Down with the Yanks.
anyway, talking about Yanks, let's move on to wrestling.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, before we get into that, we'll talk about a little bit about our news. It's some good news, and something else we should actually say is as we are on YouTube, we should do our regular thing of encouraging you all to do the standard algorithm appeasement. That is liking, subscribing if you're not subscribed already, and having seen what a wonderful, coherent, not mishmashed stream we put together, passing this on to any friend who's interested in horror and might want to learn a little more about it and see a more analytical, deeper take than you'll find in many places on YouTube. That's much appreciated. And I also wanted to put a special note out because I meant to do this last week. I completely forgot. I want to do a quick sort of hi to the Tea Time Drinker who has speed run this channel faster than anyone else I've seen. Bless her. She started off with like the very, very early stuff with just sort of a comment out of nowhere on it. And she's just sped run the entire channel and watched every stream. It's quite amazing.
Wow.
Like she caught up with everything I put out in about 2 months.
Wow. That's what I call a fan.
So
Well,
yeah.
if they're listening tonight, you want to know what you want to do with the like button? Elbow drop it off the top turnbuckle, baby.
You see that favourite button climbing out of the wall, you go up to it and say nope and smash it on their head with a hammer.
We want you to pile drive that like button.
Brilliant. You want to treat this stream like a errant blonde Victorian girl, take it up to the attic and invite all your friends to watch it while they stroke their mustaches.
You take that most
Just took a dark turn.
You take that most popular whore of a like button and you kill it for no reason and stuff its corpse in the walls of the house for some reason.
This is a wrestling reference. You take that subscribe button and you make it go around the ring and bark like a dog for Vince McMahon's pleasure.
No, that was kind of in the film.
This is a reference for only the hardcore wrestling fans. Bark like a dog. Oh man. God. Yeah.
Remember the old, or you can take the subscribe button and you can make it kiss Vince McMahon's ass.
Oh, the Kiss My Ass Club.
Oh, mate, yeah.
Join
the Kiss My Ass Club.
That son of a bitch. Okay. JR. Oh, sorry.
I'm so glad we got got you on for the wrestling knowledge. Like you
I'm
and TCG, this is essential. As I said in the last stream, I don't know much about wrestling, but
I'm a massive
Well-
wrestling. I'm a bit of, well, I'm a massive wrestling fan. Was.
yeah, I'm picking up all the deep lore. It's kind of amazing. But our topic is just a really quick bit of good news tonight. As you can see, Scream 6 is confirmed.
Yay!
Yes.
Is that necessarily good? I don't know.
Well, that's what I thought I'd raise here. I'll just throw it out to you. You know, we have got the same directorial team confirmed. We've got the same writing team confirmed. They're aiming to shoot this summer, which I'm a little worried about. Yeah, as we remember from the Scream arc, if you rush a Scream film, you're taking a bit of a gamble. But given that it's the same people putting it together, I'm kind of optimistic. But I want to throw it out to you all. Are you feeling good about it?
I'm feeling quite good about it. The franchise seems to be in a good place at the moment. It performed well in the box office, and most of the reviews of the film have been pretty positive. So the two directors that took the reins for the fifth one seem to relatively know the product and how to treat it. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess. But the only concern I do have is that because sometimes you get baited into these things where you'll get a film come out and initially they'll try and respect the source material, and then they'll try and take it in a new direction, but it will be somewhat political, should we say, and it goes very, very, very much off the deep end from there.
And that was very much a concern that we had. I actually listened to an interview, a sort of spoilers discussion on the Scream with Ryan Showers podcast, and the directors were on there, and they helped us out. They had they were asked directly about the whole toxic fandom thing. And, they weren't as direct with it as we were, but they were saying basically they were effectively making a mockery of that idea and saying that the idea of a toxic fandom is incredibly exaggerated.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. See?
So I think they're pretty good. Owain, did you see Scream 5? I just want to call it Scream 5, even though they called it Scream 5.
I haven't seen the what shall we call it, a reboot? Is it
It's a requel. A requel.
It's a requel. It's a soft reboot then. Is what they call it.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I haven't really seen it. I have heard decent things. That's what I'll say. I've only ever seen the first Scream, so.
That's lucky. That's the best one.
Yeah, my horror credentials, I will say, are, as I said in the Omen one, not great.
Well, yeah. I mean, neither was mine, so don't feel bad about it. But Scream's a good laugh. I'd watch it with people.
So, what a memory about Scream, right? So I'm gonna ruin this for you. I remember being small and going to a Halloween disco, and someone walked in. Someone from the village walked in dressed as Scream.
Ghostface.
Yes, Ghostface with the big
Mhm.
with the big kind of thing. And in my mind, see, I picture the painting the Scream, because that's what it's based on, isn't it?
Yeah.
And but I was absolutely mortified, and I cried so much I had to get taken home. I was I'm a very imaginative person. When I was small, for me, the monsters were real. They were real.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I was only about 5 or 6.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, it is supposed to be scary, so it's fair enough to get scared at it.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds bad, but yeah, that was
Nice.
me. What was I dressed up as that year? I think I was dressed up as Darth Vader.
I hope you didn't look in a mirror. And scare yourself.
My costumes always used to be quite random. I did dress up as a zombie Cyberman once. Don't tell me how that worked.
All right,
I guess
cool.
it's still alive.
Anyway, sorry.
No, you're grand. I had one idea about this extra sequel to Scream. So they have actually managed to launch a franchise this time, as they did very well at the box office. So what I was kind of hoping is, I think this next one, I think it's got to be the first outing without Sidney Gale or any legacy characters.
Has to
I was gonna say just drop him.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Good.
At best, have them as cameos, but I don't
Yeah.
even think you need that. Just to mention.
I think that's what they've achieved, isn't it?
Yeah,
like they have launched the new franchise.
You can easily get away with Gale, maybe like Haryan said, as a cameo. Sydney doesn't need to be in it at all. Gale can just be on screen doing a report or something in the background while they're talking about who's doing all the killings.
Yeah,
that would be. There's no need for these two to return back into the fold.
Because you're not going to get like at the end of Scream 5, Sydney was like really cool. Like, I really like the scene where she's going around shooting all the doors. Yeah, I'm like, that's definitely peak Sydney, and you're not going to beat it, so just don't even try.
No, just give her a bigger gun next time.
I think she earned her way out, didn't she? Yeah. And so I think it will be time for the franchise to stand on its own, and also I think you've got the characters to carry it off. I'm going to try and avoid any spoilers, just in case. I'm going to play it safe, but let's just say they did a really good job of introducing a new cast and sort of getting you to bond with them, so you're not overly focused on the legacy characters. But without the legacy characters, that does naturally sort of limit the amount of time that you get with these new characters. So the sequel is a chance to actually really focus on them, get to know them. Like, I know from Scream 5 that I like Chad, I like Mindy. I want to just sort of name all the characters, because otherwise I'm sort of going off by omission here. But let's just say there are lots of characters that we met that I want to see more of. Because
definitely,
ultimately they didn't get as much time to do everything, so they can be expanded on.
I mean, as long as Stu's in it, then that'll be fine.
Well, we did see in the same scene where they're looking at YouTube and they've got the interview with Kirby Reed, proving that Kirby survived. They did have a rumor video. Is the real life Stu Macker still alive? So we still got time.
I really hope they don't do that.
I'm just going to say as well. I mean, he was the metallic Ghostface as well in Stab 8. He was the metallic Ghostface. He did do the. I thought that was a pretty nice touch that they brought him back again in a cameo role. I thought that was a pretty nice little touch. I think though, I'm with Haryan though. If this Scream 6 ditches the entire legacy cast, then it does kind of make the potential of Stu coming back, if that was the case, a lot less likely. There's potentially a way that I could see it happening, but I think it would cause issues. You would need the legacy characters, and they probably have to be quite involved for it to be pulled off. But no, I'm fully with yourself on this. I think the new cast definitely need to be sort of given free rein in this film, and the legacy characters should just take a back seat and sit this one out.
I'm excited. Well, it's probably going to be a thing we find out next year, but I thought it was lovely news, rewarding a bit of success on a film that I think we're all quite happy with.
Yeah,
I personally can't wait for Double Feature Horror Show episode 158, where we go through Scream 6. So there we go.
All right, make a note of that, guys. Let's see if the horror show is. Let's see if that's the correct horror show number.
God, really? Like
158.
That's about 2 years.
2 years off?
If they've only just announced it.
I mean, if we don't cover it, we could, if it's already out and whatnot by then, we can always revisit it on 158. Can't
158.
We?
Okay.
I mean, we'll cover it earlier, but we'll just
StreamYard.
Yeah. Get that ready now.
Oh yeah. I reckon they'll if they film in summer now, I reckon they can hit an October Halloween release
This year?
next year. No, God.
No,
Oh,
next year.
it'd be
No, that's fair.
terrible if they got it out for then. No, that'd be a bit much.
Yeah,
But anyway, yeah, that's some
alright.
good news. I think we're all optimistic about it. And now, shall we get into our film?
Just before we do, I just want to confirm that will be Tuesday, the 9th of January, 2024. So set a reminder in your calendar, folks.
Alright. That's damn, I wish I got a smaller number now. Oh well. I just chose one, man. I just hope for the best.
All right. Okay, let's talk about Girl on the Third Floor.
Yes.
Not even the girl on the third floor, just Girl on the Third Floor.
So,
Ooh.
this is the acting debut of one wrestler, CM Punk, his actual name is Phil. What's
Phil
his last
Brooks.
Phil Brooks.
name? Phil Brooks. By the way, he does have other horror credentials prior to this, somewhat, if you can class as horror. He was on a special episode of Ghost Hunters when they went to Chicago.
It's not quite acting. But
he likes ghost hunting. It's a thing he likes to do.
Interesting.
Bless him. He is an interesting guy. Yeah, this is a relative. Oh, sorry, Owen. Go ahead.
When I was 12, I had a massive Ghost Hunters phase. All right.
We're getting all the Owen deep lore here. I kind of love it.
you sound like my sister used to love Most Haunted. You sound like my sister.
Oh, I love a good ghost story, man. I love like kind of I don't believe hardly any of them, but it's fun just like to speculate all these things.
I'm sorry you had to watch this bad one.
Hang on, was
you behave, Haryan? You behave.
was Most Haunted the one with Derek Okora in it?
I can't remember who was in it.
Mate,
I remember watching a couple of episodes.
That could be a special PH show as she goes.
Yeah, I was
going
gonna say because I mean,
all the ghost
because
shows.
I think I used to watch. I'm pretty sure it was Most Haunted I used to watch back in the
Ghost
day.
Adventures as well.
Yeah, no, I think it was definitely Most Haunted because Derek Okora, he was like a former footballer who turned spirit medium, like spirit medium, and I think it was after Michael Jackson died. He reached out using his spiritual guide Sam to.
Is it because he was a Fulham player?
To speak to, I think it was it Fulham or Leeds to speak to Michael Jackson, and I'm just thinking to myself, mate, like of all the people that Michael Jackson could possibly speak to, why would he want to speak to Derek freaking Okora?
Did he tell him about the doo-doo feces?
Michael Jackson was a massive Fulham fan, mate. You got to remember this.
No, I'm pretty sure Derek Okora was it. No, I'm pretty sure he played for
Derek Okora was in the first 3 seasons of Most Haunted. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry for
we've got off topic.
Derailing this 5 seconds in. Yeah. I don't know. PH, do you want to go through? Do you want to do a retrospective on Punk, just so these guys understand the significance of him this being his first movie?
Yeah, sure. I'll do it. I'll do a really quick thing about like how this was made, which is very simply setting the scene for saying this is from 2019. It is a kind of it's kind of low budget. It's coming out from a smaller studio. It, as you can see, written, produced, and directed by Travis Stevens. This is your sort of bless him, early days in film producing. It's not his first. He did an interesting film by the name of Cheap Thrills, which was a comedy that went into a kind of fairly disgusting, violent place. But this is obviously a bit more of a passion project for him. So it's a smaller production. It's more independent, and that is highly and by that you should be noting this is not made by WWF Films, which would later be WWE Films. It rebranded a couple of times, and that the last one we did was funded by WWE Films. This you might say is a bit of a breakaway, which is very important, very happy and relevant given our wrestler tonight, which is CM Punk. Owen, would you like to tell us a little bit about CM Punk?
So what you'll learn is that this film was done after an incident between Punk and the WWE, which has never been rectified. They had a big falling out, and so to begin, Punk is what is known as an indie turned WWE wrestler. He began his career in in a small promotion called smaller promotion called ROH, if I'm right. There's TCG, and he
Yeah.
moved. He then got signed to the WWE, where he wrestled under the resurrected ECW, which was the doomed to fail ECW. And his entrance theme then was Kill Switch Engage. He was a rather popular wrestler in what's termed the mid card, in which he became Intercontinental Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, which is an upper mid card title at the time, which is kind of the middle of the show. And he would then go on to win the Money in the Bank, which is one of the big kind of opportunities you get in WWE. Then he became a world champion. He had a few runs as world champion until about, was it 2011? Was it his big year?
I think it was 2011. I think it was.
Yeah, Money in the Bank 2011 was his big show, wasn't it? That was the big turning point for him. So he would then go on to have this time, which was called the Summer of Punk, which was when CM Punk basically ran the roost and he was the top dog in all of wrestling. And he became very famous at that because he was kind of a guy. He brought back attitude. He did this thing. He did a wrestling. He did what's called a promo, which is a talk when you talk on the mic in wrestling, and it's called the pipe bomb, which is a very famous promo in wrestling, where he basically broke the fourth wall down entirely.
Mm-hmm.
He destroyed kayfabe, which is what the fourth wall is known as in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And that made him very famous, and it drew more eyes to the product.
He also broke a few in-house rules when dropping that promo. So just sort of open up a little bit on that. So so there are different types of promos. You've got your promos, which are just obviously scripted and whatnot. You've got shoots, which are basically just completely off the script, unplanned, and then you've got what's known as a worked shoot. So it's off the cuff, but it's approved, and that's what the pipe bomb was. Mm-hmm. But they had no idea what he was going to be saying. But he broke some in-house rules. So one of the things that I remember him breaking was he broke the fourth wall.
He mentioned other promotions.
He mentioned other promotions. He referred to the superstars in the back in the locker room as wrestlers. Vince McMahon is notoriously against calling because he wants to see them as being above human. Do you know what I mean?
They're superstars.
They're superstars, yeah. So you don't call them wrestlers. And he really emphasised the wrestlers out the back.
I believe he called the championship a belt.
He called it a belt, which you're not supposed to call that. He just went off on. He went completely off on one, didn't he? And
and that made him mental famous.
Yeah,
that turned him to a kind of Steve Austin figure for a while.
Mm-hmm. Well, funny enough, when he dropped that pipe bomb, he was wearing a Steve Austin shirt.
Yeah, that was the idea behind it, wasn't it? That he was going to be kind of. So what you got to know about CM Punk's gimmick as well, though, is that he's supposed to be an anti-Steve Austin in many ways, because he's straight edge, which means he doesn't do drugs, drink, or other things.
Hold on. Is Steve Austin, was he more of a bad boy character?
He was basically what you'd call he was like an anti-hero, wasn't he? He was like
anti-hero.
Anti-hero. He was he sort of rose a few years before, back in '96, through the King of the Ring, defeating Jake the Snake Roberts, and that's where he got the old Austin 316.
Talk about your Johns and your Pauls. Austin 316 just said, "I'll whip your ass."
That's it, yeah. And but the idea was that they were going to try and make him a heel, but it was really odd for them because he'd come out, he'd stomp mud holes, he'd throw up his middle finger, he'd disrespect the management, and everybody loved him. And nothing they could do. I mean, they had him go up against Mike Tyson and DX at one point. And he won. And the fans loved him. And I think in the end Vince was this is too good.
And then The Rock turned up then, and you had Vince as well, who became an on-screen character. That's where you get the whole "you're fired" and all that stuff. And that's when you start. That's what is called the biggest period in wrestling history, which is the Attitude Era. Punk kind of. Sort of alludes back to that as a character at the time when he became big, but his straight edge stuff is all about is very core to his character as a person and core to his character of being sort of a because he's a bit of a hippie,
basically.
And so what happens then is Punk has all this great this big run, and at the end of his run, he's basically shattered. He's knackered. He's hit. He's got a staph infection on his back, which the doctor misdiagnoses. This causes a massive falling out in the back with Triple H and Vince McMahon. He walks out of a show, and he gets fired on his wedding day by Fax.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's brutal. And after that, he has a lawsuit with the WWE, and then he eventually signs for UFC, where he gets trounced twice.
Well, you say that. One of the fights 3 years later was changed to a no contest after the guy he fought against tested positive for marijuana. So his record isn't as tainted as what we would have thought.
He was
initially.
far too old to be going into it.
Oh God, yeah, definitely. I mean, he tried to go the Brock Lesnar route, and it completely backfired on him.
Yeah, and so this film comes at the tail end of his UFC career, where he's basically given up, and so he looks very out of shape. But now, at the current time, he has returned to wrestling with a new promotion called AEW.
Yep.
Nice.
There we are.
I'm so glad we have you two for this. So glad.
You might have some intermittent wrestling references throughout the night.
They are super welcome. And interesting question coming up here. Didn't he drink Budweiser? Now he drinks in the film.
He drinks in the film, yes.
I was seeing like there is a because I've done a little bit of reading about him. Obviously, I don't have the deep knowledge that you guys have got. But I knew that his straight edge thing was one of his defining characteristics. And so it's really interesting that addiction is like a major player in this film.
So this is probably why he signed on to it, because he's anti-addiction in all ways. It's his biggest thing that he hates is addiction.
Yeah, I mean,
because his father was a alcoholic.
I was going to say,
drug
yeah,
abuser.
Yeah. It's a very interesting running theme here.
If you're a wrestling fan, there's a good feud between him and JBL about this. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, sure. So I'll give you guys a quick overview in case you didn't manage to do the homework. We're not going to do an absolute play-by-play and scene-by-scene in this one,
Play-by-play.
because we could be here a while if we did that. But I'll go over the essential premise, which is that your man here, Phil, and he's credited as Phil Brooks, not CM Punk, which is absolutely fine. Like, oh gosh, the symbolism is absolutely everywhere. He is Don Cock. We will analyze that name later.
That's a terrible name. Oh, I know what the name. Oh, for God's sake, the writer's terrible.
Yeah, Don.
The writer's,
What?
the writer's awful.
It's deep symbolism.
Oh, it's all about toxic masculinity.
So yeah, I mean, technically it's a German name. Shouldn't it more be pronounced like
Coke. I thought it was Coke.
It'll be more
Because it was KOCH, like the Koch brothers, wasn't it?
Yes.
More symbolism.
He is in an older house on his own. He has got to renovate it. He has got a pregnant wife who's staying away. And we learn that he's got a bit of a shady past, that basically he was a criminal. He was cut a deal. We find it's kept quite murky what the thing was for quite a while. And then they do drop that it was basically a financial thing.
Yeah, it was fraud of some kind, yeah.
I found that a little disappointing, if I'm honest. But anyway, he is here. He is renovating the house. And while he's out from under his wife's view, he starts to go a little wild and things get a little weird in the house. He starts seeing odd things. There are weird patterns in the house, weird substances. And you start to find out that the house has got a bit of a disturbing history. I mean, I don't know how far to go into it, but
the house was cooming. Should we just come out and say it?
Yes.
Yeah, the house has a problem.
Shall we maybe deal with this first? Because I think this would probably be something that we could agree was effective in this.
The house likes to lick abs. Gone.
Where most horror films and haunted houses are going to try and get you with the sort of the bloody imagery, the scary, spooky sort of shock imagery. This played it very different, and it tried to disgust you, and how it did that was having lots and oh yes, indeed, we are in the spoiler zone, people. We are fully spoiling the film. Thank you, Tash. Yes, we are going spoilers mode on this one. The film hits you with a lot of. I don't know if I'm gonna have any chance of staying family friendly, guys.
Human fluids.
Lots of human fluids. That's
It
some of the
looks
first
like
thing you see.
cum.
All right, we start off with.
My God.
Sorry, guys. You have no idea how many screenshots I've got. So this is one of the first things you see. He comes in. Oh, his dog's in there. The dog's adorable. Dog's name is Cooper.
We love the dog.
So like you get close-ups of these like puddles of fluid, and it's not.
Cooper
got a
the
kind
cum
of
licker.
rancid look.
Oh God!
Oh
no!
Right.
One for PCG here. Ric Flair's obviously blading in that room.
Woo!
Oh no.
Horror show.
I'm
Make
quite-
sure get your stream up live and just let me know the exact moment that dollar sign goes yellow. Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right. Are we still good?
Are we
still
gonna be seeing? Are we
Oh, wait,
seeing
oh.
any of the real? Have you got any of the real disgusting stuff in this?
Yes.
Oh no!
I'll give you one of the examples, guys. Don't think badly of me. I've got to warm you up to this. It's
Oh.
getting worse.
Oh, I'm going on
blurry.
dog patrol.
Yeah, this is absolutely everywhere. So I've confirmed I am not seeing this. You have puddles of fluid that is blatantly a sort of post-coital emanation.
That's a very scientific way of putting it. Yes.
I'm talking about a giant lake of spaff on the floor, basically.
Yeah.
There we are.
Like this is the plug socket, which may remind you of a certain orifice. These plug sockets leak fluids. I'm going to get that off screen now. You've seen it, and as is a bit of a trope of a haunted house, your pipes get blocked. Except they don't always spew out sort of vomit or bile as they tend to. Instead, what gets spaffed out is
Spaffed.
where have I got it? Sorry, I've got 36 screen caps for this. We might be here a while.
You need a better naming convention.
This one is named
Oh man! Oh,
Girl on
The
the Third
Sea
Floor
Shot.
09 EU. Folks, that is. I'd like to believe that was meant to be conditioner. I don't think it is.
I mean,
So
Man, right to the money shot, jeez.
the
I mean, it's-
film is throwing this at you like there is a kind of post-coital fluids.
Yeah, let's not dwell too much
Everywhere.
on the.
We'll get that off. Okay, we'll
on
move
the
it.
on the sailors.
Yes, the gentleman's relish.
Oh.
Like what I'm saying is like that is imagery that is throughout the film. It was there to. Where should we go back to? Let's go back to this.
So,
This is a happier time.
Okay, let's
Jesus
talk
Christ!
about why it's
sorry.
emphasizing that so much.
Yeah, sorry. Before you do that, I do have to share this. Tash just sent me the picture of the shower scene,
Yeah.
and she just captioned it "weekend shot."
oh,
I was going to say
Nice.
1st of December
please.
in many a chap's house looks a lot like
just-
that.
I've just sent this in the Discord as well because that image just purely reminds me of that South Park moment. And
Right. Anyway.
I can't put that on screen, TCG. That's vile.
But
So-
I would like to say like this film, right? It's definitely trying to take that kind of toxic masculinity vibe and really run hard with it.
Mm.
Like the main character in it, he's obviously meant to be. He's very ignorant. He's very disloyal.
Mhm.
The house itself is, as we'll learn as we go on, has a lot of was an area full of toxic masculinity.
well, he's
This
just
is
and not only that, but he's also incompetent as well. Like,
Yes.
I mean, the film makes a good point to crap on Don quite quite regularly.
It's a very feminist movie.
Yeah.
Well, that's something I might challenge. I might push back on. Like, I think there's lots of feminist bait in here, and it's not like it's not easily read as feminist. It absolutely is. Which you might say, there's no distinction between these, Chloe. Shut up. Stop trying to defend the movie just because you like the shower scene.
Settle down, British.
The first, gosh. Yes, I know he'd defend the movie. Anyway, so it does have those feminist trappings, but what you're starting with here is some really good stuff, I think, actually, some deeper stuff, something that's less ideological. Like, the whole thing is that Don is here to fix the house, to get his house in order, if you will.
Ooh.
Because
I'm not drawing any parallels
flaws.
between this and Peterson, damn it.
Okay, they're basically core flaws that he's trying to fix, but he's on his own. He can't fix them. He keeps giving in to temptation, and they get worse and worse. So the house is a reflection of him, and this is pretty much said explicitly at the end, just in case no one got it. The pastor that we meet does pretty much tell you what's going on. Is that basically everyone does have the same sort of flaws and instincts that Don does, but other people will say fall victim to them, be unable to keep their house in order, and fall into chaos because of that. And that's something that is super interesting because, of course, that plays into addiction and CM Punk's real life straight edge belief,
Yeah, I was thinking about this as well, actually. I can probably go a level deeper, but
Go for it.
What if I said to you that this film is about CM Punk trying to recapture his own personal glory days?
Oh.
So, hear me out. Obviously, at one stage, he was the man, loved by millions, revered by many more. By the time this film had come out, I mean, he was still loved by WWE. The fans were still chanting his name week in, week out. But he wasn't the same person that he was back in 2013. He'd gone into the UFC, he'd failed. He vowed never to go back to wrestling. And that was pretty much, his bread and butter for all those years. And this film was perhaps him trying to, he says it himself, quite overtly, that he wanted to be the man one more time. And maybe from a personal level, maybe this film, maybe the script connected with him at a personal level, and made him accept this role. Basically, I think this film for Phil Brooks was more a personal story than perhaps the directors themselves would want to tell.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can read a lot into it. Like, I think it is actually quite nice and mature and relatable. Like, this idea of you're trying to sort yourself out, but you do have a past, but he's got to sort of accept who he is. Like, the man now, he has to be the responsible father. And he's trying to set up to that, but he has all these core, deep problems that are reflected within the house. And yeah, he falls to those temptations of the glory days, basically. There's something else that really works for your reading. We basically, when he gives into temptation, the bed and sleeps with a woman who comes round, the roof of the bedroom collapses. It will take me a while. I think I've got it. Okay, I've saved this one as metaphor. He cheats on his wife, his pregnant wife, and basically the roof comes in. The house is falling down.
Oh,
Damn.
subtle.
Right? What he sees is
Is the house
a
an
legal
analogy
chamber.
for masculine consciousness?
I don't I don't think so. I think it's just like it's each person. Each person has the same temptations that are built into you, and it's do you have the willpower to overcome them? Can you get past those temptations? Like everyone has a sort of if you read the sorry, I'll just finish off the reading here. The fact that the roof's caved in and there's a viewing platform, that's the idea is that people would then be able to watch him to adore him again, which feeds into your idea of the glory days, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I took it as if people are watching him and judging him more than that.
Interesting. Yeah. But sorry, going back to like the reading, is it just about masculinity? I'm not sure it is. Like the house has this murky, animalistic, sexual, violent past, which you can say like we all do. That's built into us via evolution, and it's like, can we get over it?
It's also inconsistent because the vicar turns around, or the priest, sorry, says, "Oh, this house likes to challenge men," but then like later on in the film, it challenges the wife.
Yeah, she's not bothered by it. That's a good catch. Yeah, it does colour it, and the slightly weird bartender character, who throws out these spicy lines and then says, "No, it's cool, man. I'm PC. It's weird.
Yeah.
Are you gay, bruv?"
It's really weird, isn't it? It's a weird character.
It was. Are you a queer?
It was. Are you a queer? Yeah, but I didn't really get that.
Well, I mean, at the time, I think you're meant to think, oh, just a bigoted old man. But actually, there's a legitimate reason why he's asking that, because he's probably aware of what the house does as well. And so he's thinking, if these are just, if it's a queer man who's moved in, or gay or whatever, then perhaps it's less likely to challenge him, if you will, as if somehow being of the homosexual variety is more virtuous. I guess I don't know. I mean, if we're looking at it from the id pol sort of version, are we saying that the cis het white man is more susceptible to the temptations of man? Or yeah, exactly.
And they're all and they're all male rapists as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could see when we talk about this film is easily read as woke and feminist. There's lots of bait for that. So
yeah.
Don gets a visit from his mate Milo, who's he's a pretty cool guy. He's a good character. I like him there as sort of a mature friend, but yes, obviously the casting lends itself to a certain interpretation. And it's just whether you want to read loads into that, which I wasn't really tempted to be honest.
I think Milo, I think, was brought in just to crap all over Don as well. Like the first thing he says to him is like, "Don, it's Saturday." Like when he opens the door to him, and I'm just like, so what? Like if the man wants to sleep in, yeah, exactly. He didn't have to come over. If the man wants to sleep in on a Saturday, let the fucking man sleep in. Crying out loud,
What a dick.
Yeah, I don't think the line of straight men don't seem to do well in there works particularly well. But it does that bit, I will say, like, does colour the reading a little bit.
I do love the beginning of this scene when he walks in with Milo, and the old man turns around. He's like, "Is this your wife?" they make me laugh.
Just think of, I'm a woman respecter. Me too.
Yeah. Then,
I love that.
Yeah, just a little glance at Don, like, yeah.
It's cheeky. So, I guess what I wanted, we've kind of drifted a bit from it. I just wanted to ask, like, how did the sort of disgusting elements work for you? Like, did that? What were you guys feeling when it was showing you all this sort of bodily fluids?
I kept asking, why does he keep touching them?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
It's like his first instinct. Like he sees the black mark on the wall. He's like, I'm gonna put my whole hand in there. And I'm like, who does that?
I know, right?
Like, there's this weird goo and he does it, and then like the one what got me is like there's a plug and all the stuff's coming out, and he still tries to use the plug afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't get me started on the point when he sees the hole in the wall and he pulls his trousers down and wait a minute, I think I'm looking at the Snyder Cut.
Oh no!
Wait, not again.
No. Okay.
Well, we do learn that he is a man with very poor impulse control. I'm just gonna I'll do this bit first, and then we'll get into some of the more then I'll hand over because I'd like to hear your more concrete criticisms. But I like the way it sort of deals with his particular proclivities and difficulties. So you get this scene where I think Phil Brooks does this great job of keeping you interested in the character, even as you begin to like him less and less. Like he goes from this scene where he's just chatting with his wife on the phone late at night, and there's a kind of semi-charming bit where he asks her to flash him, and then he immediately pulls this up.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You said like him less and less. I'm sorry. This man had full respect. I had full respect for him.
Do you notice his website there?
Daddy Master. Don Cock 232. Is that his website? Is that his website?
Yeah, it's something we have to look out for here when we see 237 turning up in a horror film.
All right.
They think they slick. They think they can get a reference to The Shining past us. No. And there is actually a very direct reference to The Shining later. I've got it saved. I will get to it when we get there. But that's way, way off. So, like, you see the stuff he's watching here, and then there's something I find really interesting, something I liked. I'm trying to really hype the positives of this film before you guys probably quite rightly point out major flaws. I want to get all the hype in first, you know? So he goes from this, and then you've seen the kind of... I think you guys got the idea of stuff he's interested in. Like, you hear a bit of audio from that website. But then he's pretty much immediately presented with a real-life temptation. You know?
Yeah.
She's presented in this very, you know, not like super sexualized way, but pretty attractive. And you notice that you're seeing her from this downwards angle, this diminutive angle, and you get the feeling like that's how he's seeing her.
Right.
You're getting the messaging. She's coming on quite heavy. And then...
If the house is anything to go by.
Yeah. And, oh gosh, where is it? That was a down angle. I need number 9. Oh, yeah, sorry. It's after he sees her, actually, that he gets the sort of disgusting shower, which I won't show again. I think you probably saw
The
enough
weekend
of that.
shot. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's kind of flirting with her, and then she comes over again with a spliff, so, you know. The old alcohol and drugs again. So considering his straight edge perspective, it's interesting that he's clearly sort of highlighting that as a bit of a problem. Can I ask what you guys thought of this bit? Because I'm sort of...
You're kind of saying to Don, how can you not tell she's like clearly there just to tempt you? It's almost like it's like someone's telegraphing a massive baseball bat at you, and you don't expect to get hit in the face. I didn't like it, and I find it really weird as well. Like when it comes to seducing, either one way or the other, I've never known to say hi to someone, and then for them to offer me like beer or a spliff or something, and then they instantly try and kiss me, basically.
Oh,
yeah, like
Harry,
that.
Found that really
Red flags, man.
Tash, why haven't you got this man a beer yet?
If a random girl came up to you and it was in your back garden.
Phrasing.
I mean, that's weird already. This girl's saying I visit empty houses.
Oh no, right? Yeah.
But she has a beer ready for you.
And a spliff, yeah. And she's like stroking your dog or whatever.
Phrasing.
She like, you know, I get red flags like, what's your angle? You know?
And this is the thing though, it's like it's the obvious temptation, it's obvious bait. Don't go for it, my dude. And yet I also want to highlight something really interesting here. This is one of the good things of the film. It's framing him in the mirror and the film is going to train you to look in the mirrors a lot. It's just training you subtly in the background. Look in the mirrors, pay attention in the mirrors, and it's going to reward you for doing that. I saved one example of it from very late in the film, but if you rewatch the film, you will see, after this point, there's often something just sort of hidden in the background. There we go. So this is from quite later in the film, but you just have, I think her name's Becky. I never remember character names,
Liz.
guys.
Liz is the wife,
See,
yeah.
I think, is the actress Becky? No, I've just pulled that out of nowhere. I never remember their names, folks. They're just protagonist, antagonist, etc. Anyway, she goes to answer the door, and your attention should be on the door, on the meeting, but in the mirror, one of the ghosts is just pictured here. This is all very Bly Manor, all very Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, they did good use of mirrors. I'll give the film that.
It's a very nice touch, but it's a good demonstration of Phil's weakness, that he is, where are we? He's given the bait. She's flirting with him. She's come over. She's been tempted. She's tempting him, and he has, he is just not resisting at all, because it's one very short move from the flirtation to just full on.
Oh, God.
Did you jump for that?
She doesn't want to be weak either.
Blimmin' heck.
I'm sorry, Owen.
I did not expect that.
I got hooked. I've been doing them every week now. I couldn't resist it. it. We'll remove it.
No, it's fine. It's
I've done them
it's
all
there.
now, right?
It's in my. It's been burnt into my retina. It's happened. Okay.
I think I've only got one more to go, and then I've done them all. Okay. So, yeah, that was linked to the imagery that I really liked earlier. That he, he cheats on his wife with her. He gives into temptation, and basically instantly the roof falls in. So very, very good metaphor.
Subtle.
His fate is sealed.
Subtle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't spelled out with big dialogue, but I will give it to you that it's not massively subtle.
This is like in a film. This was like the trailer for the new Doctor Who when Jodie Whittaker was there, and a glass ceiling literally shatters in the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's not that bad.
It's literally the roof collapses.
It shows the.
I don't think you could get any more literal. Oh no! Don't make NFTs of them.
Do it.
By God, he's fallen through the roof. Sorry. Mad for the love of mankind.
My God, he's dead. He's dead.
God.
That's Hell in the Cell, ladies and gentlemen. No way, mankind falls through the top of the cell, and Undertaker literally looks down at him and goes, "I'd ask a ref, is he dead?" That's the first question he asked him.
Let me see if I can get the old image of that.
Just
for reference.
Get any of you two, PH or Harry, to watch a wrestling match, it'd probably be Taker, Mankind, Hell in the Cell.
Yes.
If you want to send some links, I tell you, this has got me genuinely tempted to watch some, I think.
So you want to watch R2 Dera, so literally you want to watch between 98 and 2002. That's how I'd say.
Yeah,
okay.
I agree.
That's the peak wrestling. That is what's fun. I think you would love some Russo wrestling, PH. Ooh. You'd love some of the mental storylines that happened during the Russo periods.
Is Kane around in that? Because I see
he
was wearing this weird mask the whole time. And
Kane would be your favorite, I guarantee you.
He's the Undertaker's brother, is that right?
Yeah,
correct.
And the law is that Kane killed the Undertaker. and
Ooh.
created the Undertaker.
Yeah.
In a fire.
Oh, something has come up that I actually, in all the fun and eagerness to drop a Last of Us 2 meme, I did miss something very important.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
I had actually got that down to say yes. So the reason I showed you the reason I showed you the lewd material that he was looking at on his phone, and the same reason the film shows you that is to draw the direct connection. He's watching this kind of material, and then pretty much immediately a girl comes up to tempt him, and she asks him to choke her. This is bringing in the sex and violence link.
Oh.
yeah, but this is what I had a massive problem with. Is it really well, it is obviously temptation, but it doesn't work if he's kind of like, if she sledgehammers him, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I was, and this is probably a good point to move into the criticism.
Yeah.
This is going to be, because, I'm kind of a sucker for this. I like the symbolism. I like a very strong theme. But
The characters are all thick.
Oh, they are massively thick.
she is,
Yeah.
There you go.
How can I say? She came to tempt him. Basically, he wasn't going out seeking. She kind of presented herself to him in the form that would be most appealing to him. It's not the same, is it?
Well, she obviously has an apparition as a what is known as a siren in the old mythological world. She very much like a mermaid, actually, kind of in the horror style of a mermaid. She appears to his fantasy. She appeals to his male fantasy, his sexual fantasies. I guess that's probably the idea. So I imagine if there was any other man there, she would appear differently in regards to whatever their fantasy, their desire was. I assume, because she seems more like a lure.
I'm guessing for Harry, it would be a large rock.
Yes.
Yes. For me, it'd be a sheep, obviously. Duh. Bah.
But yeah, as you see, like this kind of younger, not super. Well, she's dressed a lot. It's kind of weird. She's dressed like this, which I do think is meant to be quite alluring without being over the top. But then the next one, she's
Girl
dressed
next
like...
door vibes. Vibes.
Well, in the next one, she's dressed like a sort of, the trad Wojak girl.
With that skirt.
Hang on, yeah.
It's not a skirt.
It's a tiny her dress has the bloody dress only goes just covers her bum.
Is she not wearing a bra either?
It's a little trad wifey, isn't it?
Well, the top bit is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a mini skirt though. So it's got. I wouldn't say it's that traddy.
Yeah.
You'd expect the skirt to at least go down to the knees.
We've kind of laid out a lot of the symbolism that's happening in the film, and to be honest, the pastor's going to lay it out for you later in case you didn't pick up on it. So, Haryan, would you like to sort of highlight some of your thoughts on it? Because you had some problems with this.
Well, I mean, it's from the things we talked about. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think I just put in the Discord chat, God, I hate this thought. Because she's just not a character at this point. She is obviously literally there just to be a sledgehammer for his temptations, and I'm like, this isn't how people act. Because if you're a guy and you've bought a house and you made this big step to get away from your old kind of fraudish life and you want a new start, it's the first thing you're really going to do, find the first girl.
Yeah.
It's clearly too good to be true. And then be like, I'll just sleep with her. And then he doesn't have to.
It's really sudden, isn't it? It almost comes out. I know you're getting like the little temptations with him drinking his alcohol and whatnot.
He needs to be more drunk.
But, I mean, that was the other thing. You never see him with more than 2 beer bottles. You never see him have more than 1 glass of whiskey, and he's never wasted.
Even the biggest dickhead in the world. Obviously, he's committed to his girlfriend because he rings her all the time and stuff like that. Even if he was a big dickhead, wife. he would, you need to get him a bit more drunk for him to commit infidelity, probably to commit infidelity like that.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not
And, like-
sure about that because he's chatting to his wife on the phone daily, and because it's video chats,
she's calling him.
Yeah, she catches sight of like bottles in the background. And he's like, "Oh, they left." So we do find out he lies to her. She points out that he was cheated on her a bunch.
I also want to point out, this is a small thing I noticed about his interactions with his wife and just in general. But he never actually says goodbye to anyone on the phone. He always sort of dismissively just sort of boop, hangs up. Now, I know in films they tend not to sort of, say goodbye or things like that, but it was just the way that he did it. Like, they'd be in the middle of saying something, and then, like, when they finished, or they would say, like, I'll speak to you later, bye, and he'll just be, boop.
Mm.
So, like, they say goodbye to him, and he wouldn't acknowledge it.
It is that movie phone call thing when no one talks like they do.
But it seemed to be one way, though. Because normally they're like, oh yeah, I'll meet you later this afternoon, okay, and then that's it. But she'd be like, oh, I'll see you soon, bye, and boop, just not love you or anything like that. He just silent, just shut off, and then goes on to his Daddy Master videos.
Deeply subversive.
It was just a little thing, yeah. It was just it was almost like he didn't really care. You know what I mean? Or like care as like it was just words. It was words only. He was doing this. It didn't feel like he was fully committed into it, and I got that just from that little bit. But yeah,
I just he didn't really act like a womanizer or a drunk at all. And the whole film's trying to say he was terrible for being a drunk and a womanizer. And it's like, hang on, he was tempted by her, and it's like, hang on, he's only having like 2 beers after a day's work. Well, one time it was before a day's work, but it's like, Jesus, what's how's that his fault?
There's an interesting thematic confusion here, because if you're saying, okay, this is probably one where I'm going to be adjusting my score as I go, because since I already had the thing of, she is coming to tempt him, like he wasn't inviting it, she came to him, and then I just noticed the pastor comes along and immediately offers him booze.
Yeah, it's like the man doesn't have a chance, and the house is saying he's bad, and it's like, yeah, kind of. But man, come on.
Well, yeah, this is it. I completely agree with that. This film tries to portray Don as a complete and utter arse who constantly makes the wrong choices. But to be fair to him, it's a bit more nuanced than that. Okay, yeah, granted, cheating on your wife, on your pregnant wife, probably isn't the best move. But yeah, I mean, the house just leave him alone.
It's like, we want to test him, and it's kind of like, and you're not trying to test Jesus in the desert here.
No, and I also don't. Yeah, and like you said, I also don't believe that a guy who's managed to just escape 15 years of prison for the crimes he's done, who has openly has cheated on his wife in the past, is moving all the way out into the suburbs to try and get away from that life, just to instantly just turn around and go out, one more time, go on then. Do you know what I mean?
It's day 2. It's day
exactly
2.
Yeah, it's like, and if it was if and I don't know if this is just Phil Brooks' acting skills or not, but if he come across as someone who was more troubled than what he was portraying himself as, I could have believed it more. But yeah, it was I'm moving into this house, going to get this house up done for my wife, and baby's on the way, we're looking forward to it, getting out, want to start again. Oh, hello.
Like, yeah, if the man, like that,
just all like goes like that.
Yeah, the amount he's drinking's like, I'm like, right, that's kind of, for a recovering alcoholic, that's really good. And then when it comes to like an ex-womanizer, it's like, well, of course he's gonna watch porn. That's like not the worst thing, but it's like, really, you're gonna cheat on your wife on day 2 when this is your only chance to have a life again?
Yeah,
I don't think so. Like, there's no way you're gonna put all this work. You're not gonna single-handedly renovate a house and cheat on your wife in the middle of it when you're also having this your only option. Like, come on.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
going
bit-
didn't buy
to
it.
reference, if you want that idea, like the sort of creepy temptation by an app, well, let's just say creepy temptation that you as the viewer know the character should be resisting. Obviously, there's The Shining, which we are going to see multiple references to in this film. There's also another one. I know we are going to cover it on stream at some point. But Knock Knock from 2015 by Eli Roth, I think does that a lot better and to a lot more disturbing, much more a disturbing thing. But kind of the problem here is the metaphor. Like, if you want to tell me if I've got this wrong, because I did just watch it the once, but the pastor here kind of breaks the fourth wall in a way and basically spells out the symbolism for you later in the day and says basically you're going to have temptations one way or another with the sort of my house, aka the house of religion, or the sort of his house, so sort of the realm of earthly desires, if you will. So it's a bit weird for the pastor to be bringing round the temptation.
Yeah,
How did you guys read that?
I mean, I don't want to go further into the pastor. I mean, I take it we're just talking about scene 1 here, because I hate her as a character at the end.
Oh, tell me.
Well, the pastor is just kind of.
What pastor lets people die?
Well, that's it. Like, what kind of godly person is
this? Hang on, because again, there's inconsistencies with the characters here as well. Because she says at the end. Oh, I had to let the house judge you because, there's nothing I can say that, and I suppose it's consistent when I sort of explain further, but, you have to let people make the choices, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. But like in the scene before, when she's, when was it Liz is over the pastor's house and she's like, oh, you want my advice? Get your husband and yourself out of that house for good.
It's
like, never come back. It's like, so on the one hand, you're telling us, you can't intervene, and then on the other hand, you're intervening.
You can intervene.
You can intervene. Okay, sure. It didn't change the decision, so it kind of proves your point later on in the film. But you're actively saying that in the context that you don't intervene, and yet you are.
It's but then it's established at the end that the curse almost is lifted because they got the body out.
Oh my
god!
And
it's like that's all you had to do.
I don't think the curse is lifted. I didn't read it that way at all.
Well, the temptress is out anyway.
There's sort of a thing of they take the body of our siren Sarah out, but then you see the spirit of Don there, and I think that works for the reading. The idea that look, even as a baby, this sort of instinct, this bad temptation, this human condition or original sin is there. Like everyone is going to have to confront these weaknesses and temptations.
So why don't she just take the body out of the house?
More to the point, why is she still living there?
Why is she still living there?
Because
she's died there.
Okay. It works symbolically because these are things that are innate to us. You will always have to overcome your weaknesses and temptations. They are structural problems with us as beings. But story-wise,
but you can do that. I was like, but you can do that at a different house, maybe.
Why do you need to stay in the house if you pass the test? Why not just be like, right, pass your test, I'm alive, bye.
Yeah. It works for this. I get it for
I get it from a symbolic point of view, but I just think from a practical point of view, like your husband's died in that house. You've got your best friend whose head was in the wall saying "Hi, Liz." You've got your house is jizzing all over the place. You've got you've got absolute degeneracy going on in the rooms upstairs. You've got all these ghosts around. Bearing in mind they've removed one ghost or one body, right? And yet you had a whole room, had a whole household party going on. Where are those bodies?
Well,
you know,
this is the ghost mechanic I didn't get.
Did they manifest that? Did they manifest that scene
Well,
themselves using their special ghost powers, or are
Well,
there
hang-
just hundreds of bodies laid around?
Hold on. Bear in mind again, like she had those beers in the spliff round. Where the hell did she get them? What the hell?
Ecto spliff and
Yeah, it's like those must be ghost spliffs or something, like ghost cocktails as well. Like, what the hell's going on? You know, why are these men here? Why has the wall disappeared? Why, you know, why could? Why
Hang on a minute. What's it called? That thing where they can all view from. What's it called?
Viewing platform. I don't know.
Well, that viewing platform. They said it wasn't even there when they went to do the appraisal.
They said they didn't know it was there.
No, because he was like, because she was like, "Oh, how could you miss that, Don?" He was like, "You were here. That wasn't there."
Spectral platform, I guess.
I mean,
it is. There is some. There is some weakness or some weirdness in the logic of what a ghost can do. The example that I pulled up, you know, I like this film, but it's not flawless. Where have I got? Gosh darn it!
I mean, I'm just thinking when that ceiling comes in. I mean, there's definitely no flaw there, isn't it? Way flawless, way. I'm here all night, ladies and gentlemen.
To find it.
In the meantime, elbow drops. What do we think of them?
Elbow drops. Well, the best elbow drop obviously is the heartbreaker from.
Were you about to say the sweet chin music?
I had the wrong name.
I was going to say that's not an elbow.
No. The best one is obviously by Shawn Michaels, who is my favorite wrestler.
Oh yeah. I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So who else does an elbow drop?
Well, I mean, you've got the people's elbow. You've got
the people's elbow was terrible. A terrible signature.
Oh, mate, it's an awful signature. It's no better than the worm. But what about Austin's double? Is it the double axe handle? No, it's like the sort of like second rope elbow drop.
Hang on, what the heck is the worm? What's the worm?
Okay, Scotty Too Hotty. I'm gonna have to show you that afterwards.
Scotty Too Hotty.
Scotty Too Hotty.
And Grandmaster Sexy.
He's dead now.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but the worm was a finishing move by a wrestler called Scotty Too Hotty. He would do a bulldog, which is where you sort of like run up from your opponent from behind, grab the head, and just sort of slam their head into the mat. They would bounce around. He would sort of hold his arms out, look around the crowd. Everyone would be like, "Oh my god!" And then he'd do like 4 hops, WORM, and then he would do the worm. Then he'd swish his arms a little bit, and then do like a karate chop onto their throat, pin them 1, 2, 3.
He had a comedic gimmick.
Yes, but it absolutely was absolutely over with the crowds.
Is it what was Too Cool?
Grandmaster Sexay and Rikishi. Wasn't his finisher just like a standard like leg drop off the top rope or something?
A lot of the finishes back in the day, some of the mid card finishes used to be just really plain, and they give them give them a name. Yeah, like Rikishi's was literally an ass to the face.
That's right.
Stick face.
Oh man.
No, he had the Rikishi bomb.
Oh yeah, he did have the Rikishi bomb.
That was a sick move. Yeah, that was one of his.
Face,
that was his signature move. Yeah.
That face when wrestling talk is more interesting than this film.
Brett did an elbow drop as well. I didn't like what
Bret Hart did an elbow drop. Yeah,
must be posthumously known as a Bret's rope elbow drop because he did it from the middle. He did it from the mid rope.
Yeah, so did Austin. Funny enough.
Yeah. Well, because in the old wrestling, you weren't allowed to go to the top rope. There used to be old rules where you weren't allowed to go on the top rope. So
yeah.
Deep
okay.
Law. Anyway, I got this up because this is the Richard. You're not wrong. I'm sort of like, I have no idea. I have no idea. Yeah, this was something that I highlighted because yes, there's a certain amount of what are the rules even, because apparently ghosts can text.
So right, for context, they nick like Milo dies. They obviously they just took his phone and used it. It's kind of like that's not bad at all in comparison to the other rules. When
will your actions have consequences?
Yeah, I mean the cause and effect with the phone's fine. It's just it's how they can just make all like they can completely change the look of the house. I don't know what's with all the bodily fluids. The marbles, I get it. The little kid got a bag of marbles once or something.
Okay. Why does Don eat one of them?
Yeah, I don't know why he puts it in his
I
mouth.
didn't get that.
Don's just weird.
I didn't get that at all. I
forgot.
Symbolically, it does not work because okay, this is some imagery that comes up quite a lot in the film. You see these marbles, and they're sort of a spooky thing, and Don at one point just eats them. You later find out that one of the, I guess, the other ghost, a much more disturbing creation that we'll get to. Actually, I'll bring her up now.
Oh, jeez.
I can't show much of her, guys. But be merciful. There's not too much I can show.
Yeah, she looks like something from Live Leak.
That's cool, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I like that shot.
It's a great shot. It's lovely. It's a really disturbing design. But she is the ghost of a child who was abused. There is some rather horrible, subtle imagery for that, but she was effectively bribed with marbles. So
Very Silent Hill.
That's a oh, it's totally Silent Hill. It's wonderful. It's very much like the old Silent Hill 1 nurses.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, do you know? Oh my god, I'm so glad you said that, because when I saw this for the first time, and I saw that, I was like, mate, she really reminds me of something, and I couldn't put my finger on it. But you guys are just absolutely, love you.
Are you happy?
I'm very happy.
Oh, we are going to do the Silent Hill movie one day. One day.
Yeah,
we'll get to it. I love it.
Bit of Sean Bean, can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, like, the marbles, I mean, yeah, Fez, you're reading that as a... Okay. I mean...
Oh, no.
They're a symbol of a loss of innocence. They're a symbol of a sort of... a sign of upcoming sexual abuse. Why he swallows one or would want to swallow one, it doesn't make a huge amount of sense, to be honest. But it does... The marbles do lead to a very memorably horrible scene, which I decided, I think, that I'm not going to be able to show any of it. It's just going to be a bit too much. Should we talk about the marble scene?
Is this
it was grim.
The marbles going up into his skin?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now again, so I was watching in preparation for the stream, watching reviews. Right, I brought this up. Right, it's a good point. It's a fair point, entirely fair point. Why is he cutting up his skin instead of cutting where the marbles are going to be?
Oh my god, I said exactly the same thing. Like, cut above, man. Stop cutting below.
Isn't it?
Such a douchebag. Yeah. See, this is just a film of mistakes and bad decisions.
Do you guys want to describe what happens in the scene quickly?
So, from what I can remember, I mean, I'll just get to the point where he gets the marble sort of chases him. Oh, brilliant! You go for it then.
Oh my god, I just got the girl's face. It's after he like hammers the house, isn't it? And
that's it.
Like the house starts going a bit nuts. Like doors are slamming and all that, and then she comes out of a cupboard and she drops like a marble, and then the marble just goes up and then goes towards him and then goes up his leg, and then he starts screaming in agony, lifts up his trouser, it's inside his skin, and then it basically, you get this whole scene where he's trying to fight. He gets a Stanley knife, cuts below it, going the opposite direction of where it's going.
Oh mate, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, and you see it go up his body and then up his torso, and then like it's in his face as well.
Yeah.
And he's clearly in a lot of pain, and he's trying to cut himself to get it out. And you're like, oh, that seems painful. And then the scene ends like with this, and then you look down, and then about 6-7 more marbles come at him, and you're like, oh yeah, he's that's either going to be very painful, or he's going to die, or both. So, turns out it's both. I mean, the only fix you really need is him trying to get it out with the cut. But then you can just have the marble go around him or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I found it effective just because I thought it was so grim. I was wincing. Yeah. Like, did it get the visceral reaction from you?
Yeah, I had a,
Oh yeah.
I had a similar reaction to when I see someone getting kicked in the nuts. Like I
Yeah.
was kind of
Yeah,
going,
you feel the pain. as a man.
exactly, yeah, like quite literally the marbles under his skin. And is there a symbol here for like, guilt getting under your skin? I don't know. I'm
Maybe.
not the theme person.
It's definitely got
I'll
the
leave it
idea
for
of the
PH.
invasion and the takeover. It's got that in it a bit, but it moved him into this helpless position. Suddenly he's in the diminutive role and she's standing over him, even though she is sort of physically a child. But just get only glimpses of her face. I can't really do a close up for you on YouTube. It's a bit much, but
Yeah.
I love the design.
She's got like crystals in her face. I couldn't quite tell what it was, but then later it looks like teeth.
Yeah. I thought they were teeth.
I thought they were teeth as well.
I think they're teeth. I do a zoom, but we're on YouTube. It's a very bizarre design. Like, I don't know if it's meant to be that her face was smashed in after she's killed, but you wouldn't get the teeth moving into that position. So
No, definitely not.
the closest I could get is that this is some kind of vagina dentata thing, but basically. But you can't really show that, so you have it on the face.
Yeah.
The idea of this sort of this dangerous maw that might have otherwise been penetrated is there, but now it's a threat.
Ew.
There's a whole mix of symbolism here. I should check on that. Hey, we're still green. We're still monetized.
Susan must like horror.
Apparently, we can show that shower image and it was fine.
So, yeah, I mean, I've got a close up of her face here. She does have like these green crystals. She doesn't have a nose. She doesn't have eyes. She doesn't even have a mouth. She's just really, really effed up.
Is that? I was
don't get it.
Are they marbles?
Is that?
in her face, maybe?
Yeah, I was to say, is that the bag of
No.
marbles in her face?
Doesn't look like it. They look like no, they look like kind of hexagonal crystals.
Right.
They're not circular at all.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know
'cause
what's happened to her. And
I
the explanation of her life doesn't make sense either. So
Yeah,
in terms
because
of how she
I found trying to like map the shape of her face really difficult.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of confusion. Like I'd get it if like her face was battered in because of because of the abuse or whatever, and like the marbles might have been slit in her face. But yeah, I thought could they be marbles? But like you said, they didn't look like the right shape, and
they don't.
Like,
they're
like
not
horror show
circular.
said, no, they're not. And like horror show said, the teeth are like all the way up the side
They're
of
on
the
a
head
forehead,
and on the forehead and scalp, and I'm like, yeah. I mean,
I don't know what's happened here.
I mean, I've seen mangled faces when I've been researching my cases, but I mean, nothing even comes close to that. And yeah.
I thought. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think she does actually have an eye behind her hair, but it's really hard to tell.
Right.
It's just like it's like a surgeon's just like gone to town on her face. It's like the one from BioShock 1, making some abominations. So yeah, I don't know what to take from that, but yeah, horrifying, effective. Don't get why it's like that, but I was creeped out.
And practical effects.
Yeah. Well, tell you what, I've got something. I want to stick on the character a bit because I like this bit. When we learn a little bit more about her backstory, we get some horrible symbolism here. I'm going to go Rob Agar mode, like a pound shot Rob Agar. So when Don is investigating the attic, he works out there's a hollow wall, and they're going to find many other sort of, papered over cavities in the house where bodies are discovered. So this is a good setup. He knocks through the wall, and basically this is the girl's room. But the way it's presented here is, look at that setup. You've got the sort of darkness above, and then you've got two bands of white. Are you seeing things? Okay.
I'm seeing things. I don't want to say what I'm seeing though.
Yeah.
Basically,
it's a woman.
It's a woman.
It's basically if the white edges are legs,
Yeah.
then you've got
yeah.
an adult man basically smashing through. So this is basically the violent. This is sort of sexual
violent
violence,
masculinity.
noncery image. Well, specifically, noncery is in there. So I thought that was nice, subtle symbolism that the director put in. Very disturbing, but also not massively overt, which is good. And you get just a little bit of her backstory before it's explicitly told to you later, which I quite liked.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't pick up that she was abused. I'm not surprised.
Well,
but...
you've got drawings like this are just all over the walls there, which are.
I
dude's
kind
naked.
of. I mean, to be honest, I saw that picture, and has anyone seen Smiling Friends yet?
No.
No.
Okay, it looks like the one on the left.
Is it the meme? Are you on about the meme one who goes, "I know we got to help this guy"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like that, and so I started laughing and forgot to concentrate basically. But I kind of saw a park,
very inappropriate.
and I kind of saw a park, and I'm like, oh, like I don't know why he looks like Charlie from Smiling Friends, but okay. It turns out it's Bird Mask Man.
Yeah. So you get the setup for it. It's sort of it was kind of nice getting the screen caps because some of the imagery then makes a lot more sense, but you've got enough in there that this is some disturbing stuff. It reminded me of it's a bit dark territory really, but
It's quite dark.
There's a couple of artists who have written about who went through this kind of experience, and they've put that into their art. And this reminded me of that, the way it was simple shapes, but child figures and adult figures together. And they sort of let your mind fill in the blank. Absolutely nightmarish stuff, really grim. I will not keep the stream on it very long, but I wanted to raise that. Anyway, we'll go on to slightly lighter stuff now. Thanks for bearing with us. Also, hey, Croman. Yeah, go. Oh, no.
Nonce.
Oh, Phoenix Knights. You mentioned the effects. Who mentioned the good practical effects?
Oh, that was me. I did like the old practical. See, again, if there's one thing I'll praise this film for, it would be the practical effects. Yeah, there was minimal CGI in this, I noticed. But yeah, I was hoping we were going to get to this one where Milo gets killed. The hammer shot to the face. The way his skull's, the way his eyes just like essentially like the actual the socket, the bone socket is just completely fallen apart. I love that.
I mean, cool kill. Why did they kill him?
No, that's a perfectly valid point. Perfectly valid, perfectly valid point, because I thought that myself. Like, what the hell? What agenda have they got against this guy?
It's Don is so like the point is that Don brings other men down around him. That he makes other men look bad, maybe.
Well, hang on. Or are we supposed to be saying that the bro code's bad?
No, so this is he should he should either be calling Don out, or but because he doesn't, as such, he is now implicit in Don's toxic masculinity.
That's that. Ew, no, ew.
You got to come from the perspective of these people, right?
I can see the point. Yeah, I can see the point.
Because they think we're complicit in all sorts of things just because.
I
mean, interesting character to choose to do it to. I was to say, yeah. Well, it's a horror film, Harry, and don't forget.
Yeah. Oh, true. You got me there. But,
There's a certain amount of contractually obligated scares. I thought I'd highlight this because it is it's one of those things where I think generally this film looks really good. But I've got this saved. I've got two images side by side saved, and this is labeled good effect, and the other one is labeled bad effect. Because, gosh darn it, there was a bit of a slip up here. When you get, they keep the exact same effect on Milo, and they did a fairly decent job. It was a little hard to get the right frame. But from this, you see him side on quite a lot. Yeah. And you see that it's a large appliance that's been stuck to him. Now, your nymph character that we were just talking about with the severely messed up face, obviously she is wearing a mask appliance. It's fine. It's good. It's obviously there, but it also makes her look more childlike. So it's a very effective effect. This, it looks fantastic from the front, but from the side, you see that it's just a large appliance. It's sort of the trade-off that from this they were able to use a forced perspective to give you a lot of depth on the wound.
Okay.
But you can't show that from a side angle. You've got to
show it front on.
Exactly. You've got to know your angles, gosh darn it, and they let it slip a few times.
Yeah. Yeah, and we haven't even talked about the dog dying yet. Why the hell did you kill the dog?
I hate it. Don't kill the dog. That dog was a good boy.
Well, it's like, oh, we have tests. But the dog didn't even like hump a
Hang
cushion.
on a minute.
He just licked some cum.
Owain, I would like you to tell me how the dog was complicit in this toxic masculinity, my friend.
A dog is, of course, man's best friend.
There you go.
Shut up, man.
You know,
mascot for the
that was
Broncos.
easy. That was easy.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
That's a lot more reasonable than Milo's death, because Milo was like, because she's like, oh, that's no fun. Starts lifting up her skirt. Milo's like, nah, mate, and then she kills him. It's like, you don't have a chance. Either you sleep with her and you get killed, or you refuse to sleep with her and she kills you.
Oh, this is women for you.
It's just,
I'm joking, girls. I'm joking. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not a toxic. I am not
a male feminist.
I am not a male feminist. I'm not a sexist either. I am.
Yeah, but then again, neither was Milo.
Women respect her.
Milo said he was Milo said he was a feminist sarcastically, so he clearly wasn't one either.
I wasn't sure if he was sarcastic.
No, it was the little look he gave to Don afterwards. He was like, "Yeah, I'm a feminist."
Yeah,
and sort of just gives him that little look. Yeah,
because the dog death, I didn't find it that effective either. Because it's like,
I'm not going to show anything for the dogs. By the way, this is the last dog image.
Yeah, because like they tent it down with a marble. He goes to investigate. She's there, and it's like, "Hey there, buddy." And then next scene, the dryer's on in the morning. He's like, "What the hell?" And then he goes down to find the dryer on, and then it just looked like obviously the red was blood, but it didn't look like dog bones or anything, or even I think it was supposed to be his head.
His head, yeah, you can see the head.
I didn't find it that. I watched it through about 4 times. It wasn't that clear to me.
No, it's quite poorly lit in the.
Yeah, you needed a better shot to that to be
Yeah.
effective, but I mean, it's only the scene after. It's only a scene after where it's like dog's dead. Yeah, what did the dog do wrong? Why is she killing dogs?
The dog was amazing. I really like this. Well done, Cooper.
Yeah.
You were the MVP.
Yeah, Cooper the cum licker.
Yeah.
My favourite.
Oh, disgusting. Richard, don't worry. I'm not showing anything of the dog's fate. Don't worry. I can show you Sarah's fate, because I do like that he immediately turns on her.
Well, hang on. Before we do that, can we talk about the police officer?
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
What an absolute knobhead.
Yeah, I didn't like that scene at all.
No. It was ridiculous, man. Like, how could he be so nonchalant about it? Like, he was so dismissive about the whole thing. It's like, dude, there's a headless dog. There's a headless dog probably somewhere out in the back garden. The head's spinning around in a tumble dryer. I mean, and he's like, and then he he shows him this. He shows him the video footage of the dog walking down towards the thing. It's like, in all fairness, that was pretty pointless. Like,
I was gonna feel like, what's that actually show?
Yeah. It's like, look at my dog walking around in my cat. Look at my dog walking around. It's like, well, yeah, what am I supposed to be looking at? But I mean,
and he's like, oh, what? And then he's like, oh, what? Do you think the dog killed himself after that? And I'm like, you just showed me your dog alive, and then it's like, I don't know how that's evidence. Like, I know it was alive, and then it wasn't. We've established that. This doesn't show anything different.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it was the same officer who took Kurt Zuma kicking a cat and thought nothing wrong here.
Yeah, because it's like, I've clearly got a dead dog here. We need more of an investigation than just you call me if you find anything else.
Yeah,
like, you're the officer. What the?
Yeah.
What do you?
Might as well call Scooby Doo, but then.
Yeah.
It was a weak scene, wasn't it? It was a weak one. If we're honest,
enough. I think it was just to show how incompetent the cops are, because to be fair, again, that's a bit of a trope in horror films. The police are pretty useless, but didn't need it.
Well, yeah, you can't rely on the police, and as we know from every also in horror films, you can't rely on police, and you just got to take it into your own hands.
Well, yeah.
She does.
Look at that.
Oh, no, no, what's
this-
behind her?
Well, this was the thing. You could have just gone straight from the dog in the tumble dryer to a scene like this, and then you don't
Yeah.
need the police at all. And then
Exactly.
he won't call
yeah.
the police because why would he? He's just killed a woman. That's just an easy fix.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh no.
Do you
But
really?
yeah,
Yeah.
he-
After this, do you really want the police coming back to be like,
Yeah.
"Sir, we've been looking into the dog, and oh,
I'm not going to simp though, but she's pretty fit in that. Right, it's good. I'm not going to simp, but just saying.
I think after I saw this scene, I just went to the Discord and said LMAO patrol.
Yeah, hang on a minute. I think I've got it here. Oh, where did I say it? Oh, mate, I think that was it. Redemption arc complete. I think something along those lines. I said, you know, because at the beginning I was a bit like, oh, mate, he's a bit of a douche for sleeping with this bird, like just completely out of the blue. And then obviously the dog gets killed, and I'm like, right, I hate her. God, screw her. She's. And then when he clubs her over the back of the head with the hammer, I was like, yeah, he's back. He's in my good books again.
yeah."
Redeemed. He can't do any more wrong now in my eyes.
Because I mean, the mechanics of this scene, she just appears in the house again because she does that because she's a ghost. So fair enough. And he's kind of like, you know, he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry for threatening you," and like basically tries to defuse it. Basically trying to get her to have his trust back. So when she does, she goes in the kitchen because he's like, "Get us a drink or something," and then he just smashed her in the back of the head, and she instantly dies, which is fairly realistic, to be honest. So then he wraps her body up, puts her downstairs, starts trying to put her behind a wall, but then he gets a call from Liz, and he's obviously really stressed because he's just killed a woman. So fair enough. So he's like, go away, I'm working.
Yeah, doesn't say goodbye to her again.
No, and then he goes downstairs and her body's gone, and he's like, oh, and then
You can't kill a
and then he
ghost. You
investigates.
can't kill the undead, stupid.
Oh, then he does the investigation in the attic. So, but yeah, it's
I figured TCG would have a big problem with this scene.
Would I?
Yeah, like, okay, so you're the crime guy, who you can follow for all your true crime needs, guys. You can subscribe to that crime guide to get all the true crime content you could want.
You must be mixing me up with my son, that forensic guy. He's the one doing criminology he's doing criminology at the moment, so he's doing all the forensic stuff.
Okay.
Are you talking about this spraying all this powdery?
Yeah,
stuff
like
on
he's doing the right thing. He wants the body gone, so he throws lye on it. But he does it after he's wrapped her up. So.
Yeah, he's doing it in the wrong order, isn't he?
Yeah.
But
Now-
not to say. Obviously, one of the things I hear, being obviously in the countryside, is that apparently one of the best ways to dispose of bodies is feed it pigs because they'll eat they'll eat everything.
in 8 minutes.
But seen much historical usage, I gather.
It was well known way of a form of murder in the past.
Well, disposal.
Other than throwing stuff in the river, which is the most common.
Yes.
Sorry.
He sort of
countryside
has this. He has this, and then he goes through a bit of a kind of a bit of a silly thing. Gosh, where is it? Oh, I've got it. He's basically breaking down. Losing reality is clearly not applying here, and he gets killed off a few minutes later. But before that, we did have a scene that really annoyed me, where he's. Just quickly, I don't know if I read this wrong, but he's on the video call to his wife and he's showing her the work on the walls. And then she sees behind him, and I wasn't sure if he's...
Oh.
The girl.
I wasn't sure, is she actually looking at him, or was he showing her the wall in front of him? And if he was, then how is his wife seeing Sarah behind him?
Yeah, I assumed that she
That's
was
a good
talking
point.
directly to him.
He was showing her the walls though, so unless he like pressed
Unless
the
he
switch camera again.
Yeah.
But I don't remember that. I didn't catch that. If that's what happened. So.
A minor quibble, a very minor quibble, but and then he just sort of there's kind of a nice scene where he smashes up the wall, and it's really sort of nailed into you. Like the whole house is messed up. The classic sort of he smashes holes in it, and you've got flesh behind the walls.
Yeah, I
and-
didn't get that.
Why?
This just got stupid at this point.
Yeah, look, dude, your dog's died. There's
I would
parts in the
have
walls.
left the house.
Get
And
out!
just said, I'd have just torched
yeah,
it.
get out.
I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah, like here's the thing, right? Yeah, absolutely, get out. But what is it? He goes upstairs and gets his phone off charge and sort of stands there for about 10 minutes, bloody making a call. This was ridiculous. Because for a start, like the head is way too close to the wall. He's smashing it with a hammer. There would have been a few more hammer holes in that guy's head for a start.
Yeah.
Just the whole. Every time he was smashing into the wall, like, oh mate, and even like when he was smashing into the walls and parts of the house were like exploding, either jizz or blood.
Why didn't that happen before?
No, it didn't happen before, and also you could hear these little sound effects, like as if like the house was getting off on it. Go back if you couldn't tell before. Go back and have a listen with headphones on. I'm telling you,
the house literally ejaculates.
Yeah,
pretty much. But it does do it with blood this time, so you got to respect. It's respecting the classics.
Just burn it.
yeah.
It does it once with lesser with not blood fluid, and then it does it once with blood. I don't know, one for the man, one for the woman. I don't know. Oh, I feel grim saying that.
This is basically how can I say? Well, I kind of said it. It's basically things get a bit silly, and we're in the haunted house equivalent of a slasher film when the final girl runs away from. She's being chased, but she just keeps running into corpses.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, hang on. How the heck? Why is it there? Why is it stashed there? Was it tied to the ceiling? In the haunted house equivalent of that, someone runs through and basically random spooky stuff happens, and that's kind of what's going on here.
Yeah, and it's just one, he doesn't leave the house. Two, when he sees one, that dead body, two, the girl's face in the wall, he then runs upstairs to get his phone. Okay, fair enough. He then just stays there while he calls the police instead of going down. And he doesn't call the emergency line because he's just found a dead body, by the way. No, he goes to that police officer personally that he hates. Yeah. Why would you do that?
And also, it's a mobile phone. Walk and talk, mate. Walk and talk.
Yeah, you can run out the house, you idiot. But you just,
the signals are there. Right? The guy obviously doesn't know any red flags, right? He doesn't have a sense.
I mean,
yeah.
seeing your wife's best mate's head in a wall. That's a pretty big red flag for me.
I thought the wall with guts in it would have been a bigger red flag.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I think maybe him being born was a bad mistake of his. He just seems to constantly make mistake after bad decision after bad decision. Yeah,
he has no survival instincts whatsoever.
None at all.
Which doesn't make for a good film.
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about Liz coming in yet.
No. Well, we'll get on to her after this, I think, because this is basically finishing off his story. He's perishing. But I did have this saved because, folks, I promised you a second Shining reference, and you get one here. Just before this happens, he's already been injured in his leg. So he's going up into the bedroom, and he's got a big limp like Jack Torrance in the end of The Shining. And he gets into this room and he sees a toolbox that he's he's limping because of the marble that's in his shin and going under his skin. So he comes in and he looks for the toolbox. And when he gets in, there's a big zoom on the toolbox, and it's just like in The Shining, those sudden snap zooms that Kubrick used, and you just get the one after the other, the limp and then the snap zoom. And I think it's very clearly a tribute. I just thought they're pretty slick with that, pretty darn slick, and I appreciate it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I watched the scene again because I'm like, I'm pretty sure when he goes in the room, he's limping on the wrong leg. It turns out go on.
Sorry, carry on. No, I was going to say he's selling the wrong leg.
Oh no!
This is a classic wrestler problem. So in wrestling, when you get hit, obviously the majority of the hits aren't real, and they don't genuinely hit. So what happens is you're meant to sell it, and what can happen if you're with a really bad wrestler, they will sell the wrong body part after a while because they forget what part actually got hurt at the start of the match.
Talking about selling. Sorry, just very quickly. Talking about selling moves, I'm gonna have to link you guys. Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan.
The wrestling match.
Oversells. Yeah, if you want to see an example of overselling, that is to say,
the context is he didn't want to do the match at all.
Yeah, not at all. No. Because it was supposed to be like a trilogy of matches or something like that.
Yeah, and Hogan said, "No, brother, we're going to do one. I'm going to win."
Yeah,
that's it.
And so Shawn Michaels was like, "Okay, yeah, cool. We'll do the match, but I'm going to make it look as ridiculous as possible." Yeah. For an example of overselling, I'm going to say I'll send you guys that match afterwards. It's hilarious.
I was going to say the reason I don't think it's the wrong leg is because it's in a mirror, but actually looking at the shot, it doesn't look it. Can it? Oh no, actually no. It's a randomly set up mirror that's not actually in the shot, but it's got kind of it looks like one of the dirty edges of the mirror that the camera's looking through. So I don't know what to take from that. He might be selling the wrong limb. I don't think he is. Actually, no, it definitely is a mirror, but I don't know where that mirror is coming from. So whatever. that was all. But yeah, now we've got Liz. I don't know. I was kind of like the interesting part's gone now. Now it's the whammon.
It is a tough sell, I think, because you do have you bought in with Don, and then he gets his downfall, and then the idea like, okay, well, we could kind of just end here, to be honest.
Yeah,
we've kind of got we kind of have a complete narrative, if I'm honest. We have the symbolism reaches a zenith and is resolved. We got everything. So this is it is a bit difficult to stay interested. Like we do know his wife, we know Liz, but I don't think we're hugely invested in her. So would someone like to take Liz's appearance at the house as she takes us to the finale?
Yeah, she appears there to surprise Don and be like, "Oh, I've come early. Let's see what work you've done. Oh, I'm so happy with my husband." But she goes around, sees all the beer he's been drinking, which again, for what was it, 4 or 5 days? Didn't seem. It wasn't that of an alcoholic. It looked like to me, but maybe I'm just a heavy drinker. She has a look. She has like a look around the house, investigating, because obviously Don's not there, and she's not sure where he is. And obviously the dog's not there either. So she looks around, then runs into Sarah. And she's like, "Who the hell are you?" She's like, "Oh, I've been helping Don." And she kind of gives her a look as if, if he's been drinking again, has he been shagging again? Which is like, not unreasonable to suspect that. And then, Pastor comes over, is like, "Hello, let's stay outside." She never goes in the house, and I'm not sure why.
Maybe she's in cahoots with the ghosts.
Well, she is in cahoots, but I don't see what that should mean. I don't see what that means. She can't go in the house. But I don't know. Clearly something's up, and then I can't remember. They have a little chat about how the relationships and stuff. And yeah, she's really forward. She's like, "Oh, is it a good marriage?" in like the third sentence of the conversation, and it's like, "You're weird." Stop. So after that,
not gonna say like, "Oh, God secretly on the house's side."
Well, the house does. No, the house only kills men. How can you like the house? And dogs. The house killed the dog. Why'd it kill a dog? Really annoyed at that. But after that conversation, she goes up, the sink spunks in her hands. She's like, "What the hell?" She has a phone conversation. I can't remember what it is. And I can't remember, like, something spooks her and makes her go over to the pastor. Like, does anyone remember what it is?
Isn't it that she sees Sarah, and Sarah's in the house being all a bit creepy, and she's like instantly like, something's up?
Well, Sarah's just like watching her from behind.
Did she Don at some point? I don't.
No, because it's just the sink, and then she tries to ring someone, and then can't get through to anyone, and then she just goes over. And now I'm not sure why she went over, because I thought she saw something, but obviously not. And then they have a big talk about how women are oppressed or something.
Women are oppressed.
What happened in this scene? Well, they just talked about the house testing people.
Yeah, that was it. She spelled the metaphor out. The house tests you, but I think the idea of what people will come to her, i.e., they'll I guess find religion, find kind of a greater spiritual struggle to help them stay straight, or they will be left to their own temptations, I guess. That's sort of how I read it.
It's a test of strength.
Yeah.
I mean, surely she knows he's dead as well. I don't know, but she says, because she basically says, "Oh well, I reckon we'll fail the test from that house anyway." Do you not think it's really weird the second conversation you have someone within 5 minutes, they're saying, "Oh, this house is actually testing you," and then she's like, "Yeah, that seems a normal thing to say and talk about."
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
It is weird.
Just, I don't know what it is, but yeah, I do want to say as well. I paused on when she looks at the news article of the news article saying, brothel, missing girl, whatever. It says
I can get that for you.
It says Sarah's an English immigrant. Did she sound English to anyone?
No.
It says it right there in the under the headline.
English immigrant who worked for a brothel. Huh. Interesting.
She wasn't English.
No.
So that was a bit weird.
I'm guessing there must have been she must have been cast as someone else, and then they changed the cast, and they forgot to change the scene. Maybe.
I don't know. I just thought it was a bit weird. I mean, it's a newspaper shot. No one reads these, but
1909.
It's just a weird thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah. But I wanted to get to that because then we get to the obviously the porn party.
Are you keen on this bit?
I just don't get what's I get it's like a replay of the past, but I don't get why she's being shown this.
We are once again we're going full Shining mode basically. But yes, it's an abandoning of the idea that you get tested and more of a
the house just wants to be weird.
We tested your husband and now we just want to sort of explain things to you. It does make it a bit easier to read this as a sort of female solidarity thing. But then,
Why she
that
look like
solidarity
she likes it so
doesn't
much?
last all that long.
No, I'm just confused. I mean,
I'm a bit confused by it as well. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't get it. I get I kind of get Sarah smiling to be like a good performer or whatever, and then she gets whipped by Birdman. But then, Sarah's like shouting for Don, but obviously Don's dead, so he doesn't hear. But then she notices the girl in the corner, and I just don't get the point of the little girl. I don't get what's going on. She's just
okay. So when we get this, she comes back from the pastor's house, and you get quite an unusual transition where suddenly you've got much louder music, like a soundtrack, where you're previously just kind of getting music when Don was playing it. So they weren't super consistent this, but this is what you call a switch from a diegetic sound, where your soundtrack is just being derived from elements that are in the scene to a soundtrack where the music is being played over it. I hope I explained that okay. And the switch to a non-diegetic soundtrack is to sort of signal that you're going into a slightly different version of reality, which is where she's entering the house and just seeing all these ghosts, and my cat is pitching in.
Because
Anyway, it's doing the Shining thing, okay, of course, as Wendy Torrance finds at the end of the film as she's going around seeing all the guests at the hotel. Another clear reference. So she sees a bit of the show here of what was going on at the bordello. You can say obviously the feminist, how can I say, tones in this are that they're not just going to watch a regular show. Like the show has to be explicitly violent as well. But then the
Well,
bit
yeah.
with the girl, I think I do have that here. And the little girl, I believe, is the same girl who ends up as the very messed up
Well,
creature.
yeah. I mean, I got that.
Okay.
What I mean is, who the hell is she? Why is she there? I don't get it.
Possibly a child of one of the brothel workers, and then the old Birdman takes a shine to her and starts to abuse her, and no one's watching. So she's obviously being kept in the house.
I mean, yeah, I saw this scene and I'm like, oh, he seems to be trying to look after her, but I obviously didn't get from before that he's obviously noncing as well.
Yeah, it's
that's too subtle.
Do you want to try and get the audio? He says something to her like, "Don't tell
That's
anyone."
my girl. That's my girl.
That's
is what he says.
Yeah,
and
he says it in
it's
a
Don.
creepy way.
It's Don who says it, but that's Don's voice. I'm
Is
100% that's Don's voice.
Oh, yeah,
100%
yeah,
that's Don's voice, yeah. Which is even weirder because of what happens at the end. But so all that happens, and then we obviously get Sarah just being like, "Here's what happened," and I still didn't understand what or why. I mean, I'll go through what she says. Give it a second. I have to read. The male performers wore costumes because the owner felt the mix of erotic and grotesque heightened the experience. They were right. Like, we made a load of money, all that. And then she's just like, "Oh, and then he killed me." Like, but why? Like, it was. He's like, "Oh, it was too busy to keep an eye on everyone, even the innocent ones." I take it that means the kid. Yeah, and even the not so innocent. So, okay, girls were abused. I get it. He played with her for months and then killed her. Right, I get it. He nonced her. Why did he kill her? Why would you kill? I don't get why anyone died in this brothel. Like, literally, the whole point is that.
Yeah, it's not really. It's not really made clear, is it? I mean, they sort of like hand wave it off by saying, "Oh, well, you know, I was one of the most popular girls in the club, and when I died, nobody went looking for me."
All I could think of was Game of Thrones. Every time a whore dies, someone asks where they are.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Yeah, no one asked where I was," and I'm like, I don't believe you were the most popular one, and nobody asked where you were.
No, mate, I think that sounds like narcissism.
Total cope.
Yeah, I know, right?
Use
Cope
a
and
gamma.
seethe.
But what I love is, like, one of the lines is, "All men really love is the power you give them." Yeah, so why did they kill you? if they love the power, that doesn't make sense. It just went into like, this is what I mean about this girl. She's nothing but a plot device, and I'm like, but she would be the most interesting part of all this. Like, a girl born and raised at a brothel is the most interesting thing about this, and they're just like, "Oh no, she died and got her body dumped at the train tracks." Which, if that's the case, why is a ghost in the house? Because all the other bodies are in the house. Because I was kind of like watching this film up to this point. I'm kind of like, right, this is kind of on the bad side of a film, but the explanation might just save it. And then the explanation was just like, "Oh, here's a law dump. By the way, it's kind of just like, it's internally like hemorrhaging itself." So I'm like, okay, nah, this ain't doing it.
We do get. I think a law dump is a pretty good explanation for it. I kind of wish they hadn't had that and they'd left it more for us to interpret.
Yeah.
I think they could like a lot of this explanation. It wasn't actually required. I think I think a lot of it's padding after the point Don dies.
The whole thing's.
It's not a long film. It's only just
It is
gets
an hour
over
and
the
a half,
90 minutes. Was it 93 minutes?
See, I would have. They probably should have done a longer prologue rather than do this epilogue.
Yeah, I think you needed scenes with them both at home.
Yeah, together wherever they were before moving into where they are, so you actually get a bit more established with the character of Don and what he did and how he's coping with that and why he's moving.
No, Fez is wrong.
Controversy.
She specifically says he played with her, and she's not referring to herself because she refers to herself saying I was the good one, the best one, whatever it was.
And she specifically says when I died, I couldn't leave the house.
Yeah, and her body's
which
in the
again,
house.
which doesn't make sense because the first time you see her, she's outside of the house. I know, she's on the property, but
yeah, when he killed me, my body never left the house. You're wrong, Fez. Like, sit down. No, I'm joking. I get stuff wrong all the time.
It's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
But I mean, even after this law dump as well, she's then like, oh, I've got my knife. Time to kill you. I'm like, why?
Oh, here we get into the girls get it done portion of the film.
Oh, it's I mean, thank God she has survival instincts. She instantly runs.
oh yeah,
Oh God. We then get Don coming out the cupboard, and she's like, "Oh my God," because he's covered in like these. Obviously, he's trying to cut himself to get the marbles out.
yeah.
And I thought this bit was really weird too. He's there. He's like, "Oh my God, like I'm dying. Oh, by the way, I shagged another girl." And I'm like, "Wow, what a weird thing to say." And then she's like, "Okay, bye." And I'm like, "No, I'm not being funny. He could have like." You're gonna save him before you like leave him to die. I'm
pretty sure he was already dead by that point, wasn't he?
He was already dead,
So
but she didn't
doesn't
know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so when she's like, "Nah, I'm leaving you to die," yeah, obviously he cuts his head open, and then she's underneath, and she's like, "Oh, you passed the test." I'm like, "What? How was that?"
Sorry, I got distracted looking
No,
for
it's
this,
fine.
but I liked this effect. Like, this is incredibly over the top, but I was absolutely in for it and wincing. Yeah, chat. We are gonna need girls get it done in the chat. Thank you so much.
1,000 girls get it done. I want to see G's in the chat right now. Oh God,
This is
I can
reason why-
show literally none of this.
because I mean, after this scene, it's Sarah comes out. She's like, "Oh, you passed the test. I didn't think you were gonna make it." And I mean, I'm like, was the test really to see if she'd leave a man? Like, we go like, okay, weird. And then she runs out, and there are marbles everywhere, and it has this weird shot where it's like she slips, and then the camera goes down as if she's fallen over the banister.
Oh yeah.
And then it looks up, and she's like, "Ah, no, she's fine." I'm like, wow, what a stupid fake out. Oh no, she's fine. She runs downstairs, like scared of everything. Milo's in the wall going, ha 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 ha. And she's still there, like really scared.
Oh, it does that really annoying zoom in on it as well,
Yeah, it does
on him
both
and then
of
her. It's like watching something out of like the old Chinese, like martial arts films in that moment.
Oh, good times.
I mean, she's, but just to get the point across, she's
what is going? Sorry, what is going
properly
on in the chat? Yeah, I know. What is going on in the chat?
They're trying to
Sneaky
make- they're
attempt to.
I think they're trying to spell "girls get it done." But
Yeah, they're trying to make a girls get it done tower. But
I approve. There's a girls
chat is
get it done
dyslexic.
tower, but Richard is also trying for a different tower.
oi,
That's it.
Richard.
So, yeah, I mean, so I want to finish the scene because she's scared out of her mind, but then bloody what's she called, the train track girl, she like puts her fingers through this hole in the wall and then starts spreading it out, and it goes from like a really solid wall, and then it kind of starts stretching, and I'm like, wow, this has gone really weird. She comes out, and it's the most effed up thing you'll have ever seen in your life as this woman, Liz. And she kind of looks at it, and she says, "Nah," and then
Nope.
just hits it over the head, literally a nope. And I'm like, why is it at that point you become bloody Rey Skywalker?
Yeah, she caves the head in. Just caves it in.
It's literally a one hit two hits as well, and then just there's blood everywhere, brains are all out, like she's dead, and I'm like, it was that easy, really?
Yeah. Oh, it gets better though, doesn't it? Because Sarah turns up.
Yeah, Sarah's still there, fully clothed now, thankfully.
Yep.
And then she just walks over to the dead. Can you call it a dead body if it's a ghost? I don't know. And just starts stroking it and humming. And then she goes out, and the pastor's just there waiting.
Yeah.
She waited for the ghost to try and kill her. What the fuck?
It's a battle we all must face. We must overcome it ourselves.
Well, this is why I hate the pastor. It's like, yeah, I know that ghost kills people. Don't care though.
Oh no, I'm just gonna wait outside and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm just gonna with a bourbon as well. This is actually entertainment for me. You thought men were bad.
Yeah.
They want to keep the women alive. I want the men to die. Yeah, she says like, "Oh, I think that house would be better with more girls inside or something." Oh, there's really weird dialogue after it. It's like, it's a pretty bad game, isn't it? Like,
also, how does Liz explain Don's death to his parents?
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's for after the film, okay?
Yeah.
This ain't getting a sequel, so don't.
How did he die? Well, he was killed by a ghost of a prostitute.
Yeah. How?
She could
Marbles.
To be fair, she could probably effectively say, "Oh, he cheated on me, and I've not heard from him since." Like, you could pretty effectively say that.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to speculate. I'm sorry, a film that can't stand up on its own. I'm not going to speculate the world of it. But
And now his masculine essence haunts the house.
But after and then after this, it's
Bilbo
after
the chat.
Absolutely nailed it. Well done, Bilbo. That's
wow.
it.
Oh,
That's it.
Oh, that Batwoman.
but
Oh,
I mean, you guys must have found it weird when like straight after the conversation scene,
Sorry.
we just get a scene where she just goes into like this cupboard and hits it a couple of times, and the body's in the first place she hits, and it's behind a wall that's clearly just been placed there as well.
Yeah, it's like, how'd you know?
she knows exactly where the wall is straight away.
Yeah, it's like, what? And then the pastor goes with her to bury her, and I'm like, you knew you could do this all along. Why didn't you? What the fuck?
I need to tell, like, this was a way for Don. See, if this was like the 70s, you make this like a 70s film, right? You'd probably have Omanesque. You'd probably have Don wouldn't have died, and that would have been him redeeming himself by burying her and freeing her of this curse. But obviously, in modern storytelling, we can't have that. The man can't be the savior to the woman, so the man has to die and be a antagonist by the end. Do his full heel turn, shall we say? And then we get the face, the real face, the whole time. It was me, Austin. And she comes and solves it. So the whole stuff with Dawn is useless, and we could have literally just done the last 20 minutes, and that's actually the main story happening.
This just could have been a half-hour episode, basically.
It's solving the curse. It's like a Witcher story where Geralt dies and Ciri has to finish the job.
I mean, you can make that work though.
So have you guys played Witcher? Obviously you have.
Yeah, I played.
So do you know
read it. Yeah.
Do you know there's one which is there's a side mission where I think it's a woman who's cursed, and you try and find the right spoon for her. Or something like that. She
I know them.
It's a wraith, and she's been cursed to become a wraith, and she only can whittle spoons and stuff like that. And in that, as Geralt, you're tasked with trying to figure out what's the perfect recipe and what's the right spoon to try and lift this curse. That's one of the side things. You could just kill the monster. As good Geralt, you lift the curse. But what would happen in the context of this film? Geralt would get killed because he tried to shag this wraith. And then
you're really reaching. I
am really reaching.
I get what you're going for, but
I'm just saying this is full storytelling.
Yeah, basically, yeah. This is just like because I literally am in the mindset of like, I get it. Temptations are there and all that, but I almost want to say she'd get Me Too'd if she was a man, and this happened in real life. Like, second time you meet someone and you're like up in the bedroom, and then I think almost forcing yourself on him. I mean, he obviously kind of let it happen, but
I just think this could be a better horror with a more heroic narrative.
Always.
And
Although
yeah,
it's interesting to have the one where someone does fail, you can see
Yeah.
it done well.
that just should have
if we
ended
get
when
to
he
the
died.
The
Yeah.
Haunting of Hill House, will have a fantastic example of a real sort of a sorrowful, tragic feeling. Someone doesn't manage to succeed. We'll get to it.
Oh, mate, honestly, Chrome Minion. What the hell is that lady on the right wearing? She looks like a torso atop two small pillars. And then you got can't unsee. She actually does look like she's on top two pillars.
It's
So,
yeah. I know. I like the actress. The character's a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Anyway, quick epilogue of this film was that she stayed in the house for 6 months for some god knows what reason. Had the baby in there. She leaves the baby in the cot, and then a few marbles drop down from a ceiling grate, and then you see Don's face saying, "That's my girl." And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Why? Why is Don trying to choke the baby?
If you want to know the reason she's in the house, and I'm sorry to be prosaic, they didn't have another set, and they didn't want to dress up another set. It's kind of like in American Mary, where they had the cop character, and at no point she go to a police station.
Right.
Okay, so you're meant to assume this is a different house.
No,
No,
it's the same house. They
house.
established it's the same house. They just so
They sacrificed the story. They sacrificed the story simply because they couldn't be asked to do another set.
they sacrificed a lot of plot for a lot in this. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. Well, also you needed Don's ghost there as well, and that kind of only makes sense in that house as well. But I don't know why one, Don's ghost is there, and two,
The house must be this feminist kind of house that's killing men. Like, why was Don's ghost be allowed to exist?
Because obviously
and also wouldn't Milo be there?
Yeah,
Milo would be there. Yeah. Well, you'd assume you got his body out, but I have no idea.
Milo really got the rough end of the stick in this film.
Why was it killed?
I know.
maybe they were plotting for a sequel where you have Don and the dog as a kind of duo evil thing.
Nah, Cooper was a good boy.
I think we should leave this film in the Drennels of history.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many Meltzer stars are you giving it?
All right. Well, we can get into our scoring now. Our closing thoughts and scoring. Owen, would you feel like giving us your wrap up and your score out of 12? We are still using our own 12 burger system.
This was very much the what I would say a Gilberg of a film. I'm trying to say this in a wrestling manner. So not some of Punk's greatest work. His feud with the House was definitely lacking. I didn't think the blow off was great. I'm saying this specifically in wrestling, I'm talking about a wrestling feud and match. The blow off wasn't great. Honestly, I don't want this to continue to another Mania. It doesn't need another sequel. I feel a more heroic story could have been told if there was no heel turn, and he continued as a face throughout before the random switch to women's action, which was a bit strange. So overall, in my Meltzer star ratings, it's not New Japan Pro Wrestling, so it's gonna be a solid 4.
Okay.
So again, that was riddled with wrestling references. Only TCG I think would ever get that here.
I'm very confused. Okay. I feel like I'll get you one you like next time. I'll get you something you enjoy a bit.
The Omen first. He was spoiled first.
It was interesting. It was definitely interesting.
To get you
we don't normally. I say we don't normally treat our guests that well for the first appearance.
Yeah. How about you, TCG? Closing thoughts?
Yeah.
And, by the way, chat. Get your scores in as well if you manage to watch this. It's on Netflix if we've managed to sell it to you.
I'll just pop something in the Discord. I'll just need you to pop that up when I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So for me, this film felt a little bit like Hornswoggle. You know,
a bit
Just a
short.
second.
it tried to be entertaining, but it just came up a bit short for me.
And his storyline got a bit messed up.
Yeah, very convoluted, very messy.
Oh,
Yeah,
Fez.
6 burgers, but with soggy buns, and I'm worried about the special sauce. But yeah, this wasn't a great film. You can appreciate. I can appreciate the effort. I did like the practical effects.
Yeah, I can appreciate Hornswoggle.
But yeah, I mean, there was just too many issues for it. I think, you know, trying to pull a very overt message whilst trying to hide it under layers of subtext and subtle, you know, and subtlety in other areas. The characters were poorly handled. CM Punk, Phil Brooks, his in-ring promos are better than his acting, I will say.
Yeah.
You know, definitely was experiencing ring rust in terms of putting on performances.
And his shape as well, I think.
And his shape was, he looked like a spare tire in comparison to how he was. I would probably give this a 5.
Okay.
A generous 5. It's gonna have the special WWE mayo laced with some WCW cheese.
WWE for wrist work.
So
Yeah.
if we were to put this as a wrestling, what kind of match would we compare this to?
What kind of match would this be? This would be a Punjabi prison match.
Oh no!
It's the idea is good in theory, but when it's actually put in practice, it's just
No one can actually see
clunky
the
and no
bloody
one
match.
can watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Did I ever say TGCG? By the way, Great Khali once wished me a happy birthday.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Nice. Did I tell you I met Yokozuna?
You met Yokozuna?
Yeah, it was about a week before he died. I mentioned
yeah.
this last week on stream. Yeah,
Was this when he came
and
to the UK
Fatu.
for that?
Yeah. He performed. He performed at our local leisure centre as part of his UK tour.
Oh wow, you must have been big by then.
He was huge. I was saying last week on stream they had to reinforce the ring prior to him coming out because of his size. He was an absolute unit.
Did you ever hear when they went to Saudi Arabia, the Saudis specifically asked for Yokozuna because they didn't know he had died?
Oh no! What was this for? One of their
For their Saudi Arabian shows.
one of the recent ones?
The recent ones. They specifically requested Yokozuna.
Oh, I know they like their big names.
They're like, well, can you bring back that Yokozuna guy? Yeah, they're just like, he's dead.
Yeah, he's been dead for about 20 years, mate.
A bit more than that, even. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
That's okay. We'll tell you what, I'll give my thoughts and we can finish off with Haryan. For me,
Phrasing.
okay, I think I'm obviously a bit more generous towards this film than you guys. You know, I'm noticing details like how I'm going to get Hornswoggle off there.
I was gonna say.
Just remove
You know what I want to do?
Hornswoggle.
You know what I want to do now? I want me and TCG to pick out shows and stuff, and I want Proper Horror Show to watch them, and we're gonna come back and review them with her.
That could be a rogue stream.
Okay, I'd do that. I'd definitely do that.
Pick out pay-per-views or specific Raw or something like that. Yeah.
I would
Yes.
definitely do that. So I'd say, let's look on the positives. I think the film is gorgeous. It looks so good. It stands out. The design is lovely. Just through having the decoration, it makes it memorable. I liked the disgust factor that they raised with all the various fluids. That worked for me. I felt quite revolted while I watched this. And I appreciated the symbolism they were doing. Now, okay, it doesn't entirely hold together. I don't think it's as woke as people are reading it, because I read it mostly being about just like having our own internal demons to fight. But yes, the message is not. The message is flawed by the fact that they basically screwed on over by just tempting him and bringing the temptation to.
It's not just that, but I mean they completely shit on Don at every opportunity. Milo comes around and shits on him. Like when Liz comes to the house, right? Literally the first thing she's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, Don! Oh, Don, why have you done this? Oh, Don, what's going on here? Oh, Don, you're useless."
I mean, not only that, but you're saying the themes like fighting our internal demon. The only person who had internal demons was Don.
Yeah,
Like,
everyone else was.
I think he was a very flawed individual.
Yeah, he was. That was fine. But Liz was just a plot device. It's like, oh my god, like your test is if you're gonna forgive a man or not. It's like, wow, internal flaw. Like what? That's what I wanted to say about that.
Yeah, and the practical effects I think looked great. There was only the one that I had a problem with. Otherwise, lovely bit of clarity all over the place. But yeah, it does have the flaws that we mentioned. It doesn't exactly hang together, and it did need to spell things out a bit too heavily, which is a bit of a shame because there's some lovely subtle imagery in there. And I really like the Shining references and things like hiding ghosts in the mirrors and not bringing attention to it. That's the kind of stuff I love. So for me, it's making it over that halfway mark. Does it get to the 7? I don't. On a good day, I probably would give it a 7 because I really liked Phil Brooks' acting in this.
Go on, give it a 7. Give it a 7 if you want.
I thought he had a lot of charisma. I found him very memorable. He's got that sort of John Hamm look. He's quite expressive.
Are you telling me that he needs to keep doing more movies to improve his acting?
I'd be up for that. Yeah, I enjoyed him.
Is it better than The Rock and the Scorpion King, though?
Nothing's better than The Rock and the Scorpion King.
Haven't risked it. So for me, it probably is a 7, even if that is a bit generous. But I'll recognise the flaws. But there's definitely lots of ketchup, and I think, yes, hopefully salad cream.
Hopefully salad cream. Vegan salad cream, I'm guessing.
Yes. All right, that's for me. Haryan.
Yes. This film was just a spunk sandwich. Like genuinely, I'm not really kidding about that. There was one character in this, and that was Don. He was the only person who came across as a person. Everyone, yeah.
Sorry, spunk sandwich.
That is how I feel about Don. Yes. But you got the pastor. She is just the most unlikable person when you actually think about what she's been doing all over the years with that house. She didn't even attempt to save anyone. She's like, oh no, I'm a pastor. I'm not going to give any advice. I'm not even going to try and do the simple thing of getting, the respectful thing as well of getting this poor girl's body out and burying it properly. Speaking of, you've got the little girl who, why is she in a brothel in the first place? That'll be a bit interesting to find out. Oh no, you don't know. No, apparently she was just nonced and killed and thrown away. Great. You got Sarah. What's her character? Oh, she was spanked around a bit, killed for no reason, and put in the walls. Great. And now she's, I don't know, spiteful or something and kills everyone in the house, despite the fact she's trying to tell everyone that she's doing tests, which she clearly bloody isn't.
No.
Like, what's Milo's character? Oh, he's the friendly blackman. That's
also
it.
The black guy who dies in a horror film.
Yeah,
of course, yes.
Gotta fill it in,
Yeah, I mean, practical effects, good. Yeah, fine, I agree with that. That's the thing. Like, they're trying to make it out like the house alive, and that gets quite literal at points. But it's really selective when it does that. Like, leaving me going, why is there, a heart in this wall now? Why is it now he's hitting walls and it's spunking everywhere? It was a lot of we want cool shots rather than think about how they actually get and pay off that cool shot. If it was if all the ghosts could do was manipulate marbles and teleport and only interact with the house, that would be fine. But they could do it. They're doing entire bloody shag parties in there. Like, if they can, and even with that, they can make kills so much more cool with that. But they just didn't seem to take the opportunity. Complete inconsistencies within its own logic. Don's the only character, and at least is interesting, but it just ends up becoming unlikable because the film keeps telling you to not like him, and in the end, I just went, "No, screw you. I'm gonna like him now." Not great. 3 spunk sandwiches. Oh, it's
3 spunk sandwich. Oh, mate, we've moved away from the burgers. We've moved away from the burgers altogether.
This was awful. Like, this is a film where you may as well just watch the best clips. because the context makes it so much worse.
Okay, not a good prediction for me this week.
Yeah, not the strongest one. Right, let's have a look. Let's get it up. Let's get it phrasing. Right, prediction for birthday boy Haryan. Inside of Haryan are two wolves. One wolf sees that the girl on the third floor is powerful exploration of the human condition and original sin, our deep flaws and need to have mastery over them. A message that true horror is the potential for evil within our very core. The other wolf sees the superficial woke aspects and starts growling.
I didn't think it was that woke either.
No, I mean, I was a bit conflicted because on the one hand I was like, oh mate, this feels a bit woke, but at the same time I was like, but it kind of makes sense.
It's
trying to balance itself out.
It's superficial, like woke. It's like a woke Febreze has been splashed over, so Netflix will put it on.
Yeah, my main problem though was just that they crapped on my man Don for too much, and to be honest with you, he was redeemed in my eyes when he put a hammer in the back of that twat's.
Well, like I was saying, if this was a 70s movie, say a la Omen, as we watched previously, connected to my previous one, what would have happened is that the pasture would have been a helpful, probably likely a man, in the 70s, and would have said, I would have said, yeah, the house is cursed, and there's a body in the house somewhere. I can help you find it, and we can remove the curse from this house and put the girl to rest. And I know of your infidelity, and this could redeem you. And
that would have made us so much more likable.
That would have made probably the second half. That would have been the arc for the second half of the movie, a redemption arc, and it would have been the end of the film would have been the other girl probably wouldn't have ended up being a abused child, trying to protect said body from leaving the house. And then once the body leaves the house and it's buried, both of them are put to rest, and we have a nice little image of them being put to rest happily ever after. And then you would have ended up having Don going home, his wife turning up, and then you might have maybe a cliffhanger of something else. See, now
I love it when we write their films.
I'm gonna have to stop us derailing because we're enraging Super Nanny. Let's finish the prediction.
Right, Haryan has some very big problems with the story, such as ghosts can use phones, and that policeman was remarkably chill about a chopped up dog. Also, why did Liz not immediately leg it out? Also, why did Don eat the marble? Why scatter lie on Sarah's corpse after wrapping it up? Why does the video call have the camera in both directions in that one scene? Derp. He'll say, not incorrectly, that the film ends up in things just kind of happen mode, where we move through shocking imagery, set pieces, and the story gets choppy to enable the message and symbolism to come through. The disgusting fluids will have absolutely grossed him out, and he'll really like the subtle touch of having ghosts in the mirrors, unannounced. Very Bly Manor. Overall, despite a choppy story, he'll come out in favour of the girl on the third floor. 7 out of 12 burgers, a slice of cheese, and lots of pickle action.
It's a spunk sandwich, mate.
It's a spunk sandwich. We've thrown the burgers out for this one.
Yeah, not my finest prediction there. No burgers, just soggy biscuits.
Oh God, right. That's
Okay,
enough of that.
well, folks, you can't win them all. But we're returning to a bigger name wrestler for next week's horror homework. If you're here, you get the announcement early. I offered a choice of films to next week's guest. We've got Zen coming back on. There was really no competition. The second Doom was in the running. He wanted to do Doom.
Oh no!
So we're going to do Doom.
I genuinely can't wait.
I watched it yesterday as well, funnily enough, because I was like going to get a few watchings in this week. I like that film.
It's a very guilty pleasure.
That is gonna cross the Wiseau threshold.
Yeah.
There's no
Rosamund
doubt about
Pike
it.
disgracing herself. Oh, I love it.
You
So
got
there
a
you
mad
go,
week
folks.
next week discussion anyway.
Yeah, there you go, folks. Doom is your horror homework for next week. It is currently on Netflix. Very budget friendly.
And the TCG, if you do not mention Hollywood Rock, I'm very disappointed because that's when he became Hollywood Rock.
That's right, when he became Hollywood Rock, yeah.
Yeah.
And we will get some deep lore on The Rock as well. I think will be a good topic to go into. All right, folks. Well, I've got to thank my guests for adding the great discussion and picking up all the things I'd basically just ignored so I could say how much I like the symbolism. Much appreciated. Owain, do you have anything to shill?
Foundations Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. If you go to the Foundations Podcast on YouTube, if you like your architecture or history, we are continuing our dive. We've kind of slowed down quite a bit because my life is pretty mental, but we still try to get out. We still get out video, at least 2 videos in a month. They're 2.5 hours long, so you can't blame us. They're 2 hours long. And so yeah, we're currently at Art Deco now. We're going to go to Art Deco. We have got an architectural fiction series as well. We've done Lord of the Rings. We've done Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and Mass Effect. And we are currently trying to work out what we're going to do next. Possibly BioShock.
I was going to say BioShock would be a big show.
Dishonored. I want to do Blade. We want to do Blade Runner. That'll probably be alongside something else.
Could do Cyberpunk as well.
Yeah, well, there's loads of things in Cyberpunk. We want to do the Elder Scrolls at some point. There's tons of fiction series of architecture we need to get through. So yes, Foundations Podcast, ladies and gentlemen, for your architectural needs and history.
Nicely shilled.
It's a chill. It's a chill podcast. It's a chill podcast.
Nice. All right, fantastic. And Harry, and I think you got one out today, didn't you?
Yeah, I decided to cover the Freedom Convoy in Canada because I hadn't been following it properly. So I was like, make a video on it. It'll give me a good excuse to find out what all the honking's about.
Honks in the chat, lads.
Honk, yes, honk. Yeah, I didn't really go into the kind of Reddit comments on people whinging about it because it's like, I'm sure there are other videos out there going through that. I want to get into what the politicians and media are saying about it, and yeah, it turns out everyone just wants to misrepresent them. Who'd have thunk? So I'm surprised I kept it. Yeah, I'm surprised I kept it down to half an hour, to be honest. But nice. Yeah. And Laughing at the Guardian was Saturday, and I'm on Regional Variations tomorrow with Tailed Feature at 10.
Excellent.
There you go.
All right, and TCG.
Yeah, so my video that I had planned for tomorrow, unfortunately, has just been pushed back a little bit just because I had a very busy week last week. So, but I've started working on the script now, so I'm hoping that'll be out next Tuesday. But I did release a video the other day, nice short one. I say nice, it's a short one, just providing an update to an earlier case that I covered about a year ago about the unsolved murder of Billy Joe Jenkins. There's been well, go and have a look at it. I'm not going to spoil it here. Why would I? That's not what we do on this channel. So yeah, go and check it out. It's like 3 minutes of your time, and there's a link to the full case if you wanted to go through that one as well. But to make up for no video on Tuesday, to you lovely lot, I'm going to be doing a Laughing at the Florida Man stream on Friday night, and I believe that Horror Show is going to be there with me along with Murgoot. I did ask Haryan, but he said something about a girlfriend, seeing a girlfriend.
God, who needs a girlfriend?
I mean,
I'm getting those weekend shots out, man.
I mean, I don't know who he could possibly be referring to, or who could possibly want this rock-loving lad. But fair enough.
Who needs a woman, eh?
I know, right? So I am looking for, I guess, I'm trying to get Dev, but trying to get hold of him, so like trying to get blood out of a rock.
I know.
So yeah.
Waifu has got a sneaky girls get it done tower in. She went rogue. Went on a rampage. Brilliant. Okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to Friday. I think that'll be a hoot.
Yeah, so that'll be at 9 o'clock UK time.
I'm really committed to this idea of getting PH to watch some wrestling now, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm into it. You've got to message me on Twitter the matches you want me to watch.
Okay, well, me and TCG will do. We'll get a specific show to watch, and we'll just do a quick hour on it or something.
I like it. I'm up for it. All right, fantastic. Well, I'm going to leave it there. We're doing pretty well. Like, we haven't got the pat on the head from Super Nanny, but she's not raging. I think we'll get away. We'll get away with it this week. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to reiterate thanks to my guests, much appreciated, and as always, great dialogue on it. Even if the film hasn't won everyone over, there's a great discussion and chat. You've been brilliant, keeping it nice and lively and posting some energetic towers in there. And if you watch this on the rewatch, I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to leave it here. Thanks, y'all.